Boom, we're live. So it says. Oh, I should have did some. I should have combed my hair or something. Oh well. Let's just. Yeah. Woo. I haven't really been paying much attention to that stuff today. What's going on, everybody? We got Blue Sky in the house. We got JS in the house. What's up, homies? And let's see here. I'm just going to small talk for a minute because, if we want to talk about anything important, let the high rollers, let the regular people show up. And before we dig into anything important tonight, or of substance, um, I'm a little tired today. I worked at the bakery last night. That was my first nighttime shift in months. Beat, but it was good. It was only 6 hours, but those 6 hours, we're a lot busier at night than we are during the day. It's a different busy. During the day, we're basically busy getting ready for the night people to have what they need because it's always good. It's always busier when the sun goes down. The potheads get the munchies. They want big cookies. They come in droves. And it's not bad, though. I did take home a big box of cookies. I got them in the freezer. I ate two today for breakfast. Throw them things I throw them on my cast iron pan, throw it in the oven at 290 for 7 minutes. Boom. Just like they came out of the oven. I don't know how long I'm supposed to put them in if I pull them right out of the freezer and throw them in the oven. Maybe an extra 5 minutes. I don't know. I'm going to play around with that. I'll have an exact number at some point, but I don't own a microwave. I have access to one. My best friend said he has one he wants to give me. I haven't really been like, I could care less about owning a microwave. I don't really use them. Handy from time to time. If somebody's going to give me one, I'll make room for it. I am not going to go buy one while I live here. Air fryer. I mean, an air fryer is not much different than an oven. I have a convection oven. This oven does a good job keeping things crispy. I'll throw so for dinner tonight, I got these frozen chicken patties from HEB and they're bangers. And they've got some good breading on them. They're not like the garbage ones you get from Tyson. These things are beasts. I'm going to throw two of them on a cast iron pan, throw that in the oven at 420 for like half an hour-ish. I'll flip them. I threw caramelized onions and Gouda on them the last time I did it. Oh my God, it was so good. But I don't know if I'm going to go to all that. But I could caramelize and I could cut up an onion and throw it in a pan and caramelize it. And I do have peppers and onions. I could do that. I don't know. I'm going to make some chicken sandwiches later. But let's see. I don't know. This week, things are back to normal-ish. The big house project is done. Even if I get a piece of furniture like a couch, that's like carry it in and set it down and you're done. I don't have to these big rip the house apart to assemble things and go crazy having to pull half of my tools out to do it. That's over with. That's good. So I had 3 weeks worth of laundry to do on Tuesday. And if you were if you're the members only live stream, I might repeat myself a couple times tonight, but I'm not going down. It's not going to be all the same stuff. But I did 3 weeks worth of laundry on Tuesday. And no, I did not get a love seat and couch yet. I'm love seat as a couch. I don't have room for a couch. There's no room in this place for a couch. Unless I could either have a bed or a couch. I'll choose a bed. But I can fit a love seat, especially if I can keep the width at 50 inches. I could go up to 70 inches, but that's going to it's going to be so tight. It'll make that room crowded, that extra 20 inches. I found one that's really sweet. I've shared it a couple times on screen. It's about 64 inches wide, and I could get it for like $80, and this thing is dope for an $80 couch. But um, it is what it is. I'm not. That's I got other things on my plate. The biggest problem with the couch is I got to go get a pickup truck to go get it, so or a moving van or something. So there's going to be U-Haul, or I'll have to borrow something from somebody. Or the other option would be they make these. It's called the boneless couch, where it's basically a couch in a box, and it's all made out of foam. And some of those don't look too horrible, especially for the space that I have for it. If I could get one that's tall enough, but I don't know. It's kind of like it's like a little bit more grown up than a beanbag chair. And I had an 8 foot wide Lovesac beanbag chair at my old crib. Um, those things are like $2,000, but I got it for free on Craigslist. So I am the master of furnishing a house with no money. When it comes to furniture, I'm the Mac Daddy. I can get the best deals. I have done some amazing crap with furniture. I could be an interior designer, except I'm straight. So um, I went to art school. Every single guy in the interior design program was into dudes. It's just the way it works. Um, I don't think I would want to design rich people's homes anyway. I like doing my own. I don't need to hire somebody to design my own space, but I don't want to do it for anybody else. I got other things to do. But I did 3 weeks worth of laundry on Tuesday, and uh, so because I had to keep getting out of my chair all day, I filled my day with things like Zoom meetings and keeping my finances back on track, at least like the bookkeeping part. So now I know exactly how poor I am today instead of having to guess. I know down to the penny how much money I don't have. So that's awesome. I was about 2 weeks behind on that. It gets exponentially worse each week, laundry or the bookkeeping. If I do the books once a week, it's like an hour. If I wait 2 weeks, that turns into 6 hours. If you wait a month, forget it. That's like a day and a half. Same thing with the laundry. If I do the laundry once a week, it takes about half an hour to an hour to wash the clothes and hang them up on a clothesline. And by the end of the day, before the sun goes down, they're all dry and put away. You wait 3 weeks. I started doing laundry at 11 a.m. and I didn't get the last stuff hung up on the clothesline till 5 in the afternoon. And it wasn't until the next morning at like 10 a.m. that I even pulled everything off the clothesline that was dry. And then it wasn't until like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Well, yesterday it would have been like noon, maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, maybe 3 in the afternoon when all the clothes were put away. Um, um, anyway, so anyway, I was down to my last clean pair of underwear, and luckily, um, I was down to my last pair of underwear on a day where I could actually do the laundry, which was usually it's Tuesdays the best day for that. So it all worked out. All my clothes are good. I can go back to doing laundry once a week and keep up with that. It's not hard. And it wasn't even hard. It's not like I went from 11 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night on Tuesday doing laundry. I just have to get up out of my chair, go to the other room, move something, fill up the thing with water, hit a button, walk away, come back later. And part of the reason it took until 5 is because the washing machine cycle only takes 15 minutes, but I might disappear for half an hour to an hour doing other things and then go back and be like, oh crap, I forgot. Drain it, fill up the thing for the rinse cycle, hit the button again, walk away for half an hour. So like I can do other things. It still beats the crap out of going to a laundromat. And even though I've got a car now, I could just throw a couple bags of clothes in the car and go to the laundromat, but I'm going to sit there for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is, twiddling on my phone, not being able to do anything, not being home and pay all the money. Like I could do this at home still. Um, Bedding, like my comforter and a blanket should go to the laundromat. And if I go do that, I'll take other stuff to the laundromat and wash it. Like just get a good like banger of a washout for some things. But my sheets and my sheets and pillowcases and all that can go in the washing machine I have. It's just the big stuff, the big heavy stuff won't fly. Um, I mopped my floors on Sunday, like regular chores. I'm back to it. I mopped my floors with a regular mop and a mop bucket on Sunday because they were trashed. I will advise you never, as an interior designer who has no clients and doesn't want them. I will advise you to not get light colored floors, especially if you're getting like a hardwood floor or fake hardwood floor. Don't get the bleached blonde hardwood floors. You're going to hate your life because you'll mop and sweep and vacuum. 15 minutes later, it'll look trashed because a piece of hair falls off your arm. I did not realize as a human being how much hair sheds off my body until I had these floors here, because you walk around and it looks like I just shaved my nether region as I walk around the bathroom sometimes, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's hair all over the floors in the living room, especially where I sit and watch TV. It must just fall off my arms and legs. Like I probably lose a pound of hair a week, and it just keeps growing back. But on these particular floors, every piece of dust, piece of string, piece of lint, little hair, everything shows right up on this floor. I can't stand that about this floor. I've had dark hardwood floors. You'd go a month without sweeping and you'd hardly notice. It wouldn't be until like the dust mites start bothering me and my feet start itching, or I'm walking around and I look at my feet and they're covered in dirt and I'm like, maybe I got to vacuum. But these floors here, oh my God, 15 minutes after you're done, you'll start seeing, and you will know, because I went over the floor 6 times with the vacuum cleaner and it was perfectly clean. I walk away 5 minutes, I come back, there's new dirt. So if ever there was a place for me to get a robot vacuum, oh my God, this is the place. A robot vacuum would be perfect for this place because it would just go on its own, especially when I'm not here, and just go do it would get a lot of that crap off the floor and it would delay having to do it myself. That's down the road. It's not something I'm prioritizing. It would be more like a nice to have. I've never had a house where one of those would actually work well because of the layout and stuff. Here, a robot vacuum would find every nook and cranny of this place without having to, it wouldn't get confused or whatever. It would find there's nothing that it wouldn't be able to get to, and there's nothing for it to fall off of, like a flight of stairs or anything like that. And there's no, barriers that it would get up against and just, turn into a stupid robot that can't figure out what to do. This would be a good spot for one of those. But I did get a steam mop a while back when I bought the car. $30 on Facebook Marketplace, a good one, like top of the line Shark steamer. It's even got a clothing steamer. So somebody was giving me shade about buying an ironing board instead of a clothing steamer. Well, now I've got a clothing steamer too. Because the Shark steam mop has a detachable thing and you can use it with a hand wand. And it's got the steam blaster, which shoots out this really crazy jet of hot steam
if you're having a stubborn spot on your floor. But I used to have one of these at my old house, and I loved it. I wouldn't have to mop. I'd have to mop with an actual mop maybe 3 times a year because the steam mop does such a good job. Your floor dries almost instantly when it's done. Um, and it does such a good job getting like the floor, that the stuff that you can't get with the vacuum cleaner, and food and whatever happens to the floor, especially in the kitchen. Um, it makes the floors look great with almost no effort, same amount of effort as a vacuum cleaner. I would highly recommend getting one if you're going to get one with a steam blaster that has a nozzle on the bottom and the Shark one, you flip the pad over and you push a button and it's like, psst, it like blasts something. Because if you get a stain that won't come out with the pad, you could scrub it for 10 minutes and it won't do anything, but you blast it with that steam and it's gone. My buddy has one, and he gave me a little handy tip. He puts a little bit of Pine Sol in his when he fills up the steam mop. I don't know how much, but like just enough. It gives it that Pine Sol fresh smell when you're done doing your house, all the hardwood floors and stuff with your steam mop. But it's great. You can walk on the floor 30 seconds to a minute after you do it. They're great. I love that thing. I've installed a couple more little shelves here and there for my cycling gear, helmets. You can see in the background there, I've got a little helmet rack. I can hang my keys and some other stuff on there. Just anything to help get stuff organized. And I've got one drawer in my kitchen, 2 drawers. One I put like silverware and some other stuff in. The other one's like all your kitchen stuff, like wooden spoons and can openers and that kind of stuff. And that got ridiculous. So I got this little round thing, this holder at Target the other day. And I was able to empty out half of the drawer and put it all in this thing on the countertop. And now I can find stuff in the drawer, and just one little thing made a huge difference in how much space I have in the kitchen. And so I'm just, I'm working on this stuff. A little bit of car trouble this week, but I don't even know what to think about it right now. Monday morning, it was a little chilly, like in the 50s, like 50. It may have gone down to 45 overnight, but it was 90 degrees by noon. So, but I went to start my car and the car didn't start on the first turn. And then when it did start, the whole drive in, the whole instrument panel was completely flaked out, showing every single error message light. The speedometer didn't work. I can't even count the number of things that were going wrong. Like, I was like, holy shit, something's really messed up. And I'm just like praying, please let me get to work. Please let me get to work. And then I get to work. I turn the car off, and on a whim, I go to try and start the car won't start. And I tried it like 4 times. It wouldn't start. Shit. So now I'm freaking out. I go into the bakery, sit there for a minute. 10 minutes later, I'm like, on a whim, I go back out to start the car. Car starts up just fine. No error messages, no flashing lights on the dashboard, nothing. Everything's fine. And so I'm like, okay. So I turn the car off. I work all day with this on my mind. Am I going to go home or am I stranded today? Check engine light never turned off. So I'm like, well, there's a code in there maybe, but I didn't have time for this crap. I have some stuff in my trunk. So I go home. After work, car starts right up and I drive home. Check engine light's still on. I'm like, all right. But I wanted to go to like Advanced Auto Parts Zone or whatever, one of those stores, and have them use the battery tester.
and see what's up before I start throwing money at it. And so, of course, the check engine light turns off on my way to Advanced Auto Parts Zone or whatever it was around the corner. It's walking distance from my house. So I just wanted to get the car home and then figure it out. So I get to Advanced Auto Parts Zone. The dude comes out with the tester. Everything's fine. Oh, your battery's fine. Your alternator's fine. Your starter's fine. Everything's good. Thank you. Great. So now I got to wait till I break down on the side of the road, because if I take this to a mechanic, they're just going to say the same thing. If you can't make it happen in front of the mechanic's not going to know what the hell to do. And they, the only thing that I've had an alternator go bad more than once, and that's typically what happens. All the electronics will just start flaking out. But the only factor at play was it was cold. And so I'm like, maybe my battery's flaking out. And maybe my battery had low voltage that morning because of the cold. But after the temperature warmed up, everything was fine because the batteries work better when they're warm. I can't tell you how many times in my life so like the first cold day in the fall, where it goes from summer temperature to being like 40 degrees overnight, that's like Black Friday for the car battery companies, because that's the morning that everybody comes out, and anybody that's got a bad battery in their cars don't start. The tow trucks, they're making bank that day. The battery companies are raking it. That's like Black Friday for the car battery factory right there. That's the day that they start making a profit, that first cold day. Because you could have a battery that's going bad, but it's not going to tell you until it's cold. And so that's my gut feeling right now. Because if it was the alternator, I've driven the car. I drove the car yesterday, 50 miles, no problems at all, none whatsoever. But it was 90 degrees outside. It was 70 when I left the bakery last night. Fine. So what am I doing about it? Nothing yet. But as a preparedness guy, I'm going to fill in any gaps if I see a weakness in my preparedness. And right now I'm starting from zero. When I came home from prison, I had a random handful of possessions that were saved from my old house. So let's just say I was starting at zero, even though it was like maybe 5. Battery for this car is going to be like 200. So I wish it was 135. And 200's like a basic bitch battery. That's not even a nice one. But that was at like Advanced Auto Parts Zone or whatever. Those were the prices I was getting from those places. So maybe I can get a cheaper battery if I shop around. Wally World might have a cheaper battery. I don't know. I don't like going to Wally World, but yeah, exactly. The one that's in the car right now is a Pep Boys battery. I pretty much would say I see the Pep Boys logo on the battery and I'm like, yeah, I bet that's the battery. Just because of that. But anyway, what can I do as a prepper? So I don't want to go to Advanced Auto Parts Zone next time I gotta fix my car. And I was looking at the battery testers, and they had them anywhere from $20 to $50, up over $100. This one was on sale for half off. It's a nice one, nice-ish. I got a battery tester for my trunk of my car. So now that's in the trunk. So now the next time I wake up and it's cold in the morning, before I even get in the car, I'm going to pop the hood. I'm going to stick this thing on there and I'm going to see what it tells me is going on with the battery when it's cold. Because then if something's flaking out on my car and this thing's telling me that I'm down to like 10 volts or something like that, like to where the car will start and the car will kind of run, but this thing will this thing will test the battery. It'll test the current coming from the alternator. It'll test the starting voltage. It has a graph on it. It'll show you it'll show you if the voltage drops. Like if the cord, I don't think the cord is long enough, but if I could clip it to my battery, run it out the hood, and put it in the car while I drive, it has a live readout of the voltage, and it would show me a graph while I'm driving. And if I start turning switches and turn on the AC and that kind of crap, it'll tell me if the voltage drops. So, but right now the car's fine. Like, the temperature being the only factor is just my gut feeling says it's the battery, because who knows when the last time it was replaced. I don't know. But, the cold can make electronics flake out. I've had cameras go bad in the cold, but batteries for my cameras die in the cold too. I mean, I have a freshly charged battery for one of my DSLRs go out in the cold for an hour and boom, my battery's dead. And I'm thinking, crap, my camera's broke. No, put in a fresh battery. Boom. Put the battery in my pocket where it's warm. An hour later, when the fresh battery's dead, pull the one out of my pocket, and all of a sudden it's back to life and it has a big charge on it. All of it, like cold does things to batteries and electronics. I've had cameras and computer stuff that gets really slow when it's cold. So I don't know. It might be the battery. It might be something else. I hope to God that it's not going to be some expensive thing. I feel like if it was the alternator, it would tell me that it's messed up regardless of what the temperature is outside. But I don't know. I mean, it sucks. I got to just wait it out. So what else can I do? Got the battery tester. On a side note, it came to $24.50, and Amazon was like, you need 50 cents more on your order to get same day delivery. And I ordered this yesterday morning. And I'm like, I wanted to take it to work with me just in case I needed something after work. I have 2 jump starter kits in the back of my trunk because I used to have 2 vehicles with them in it. So that's why that's a random thing that survived. So anyway, they told me 50 cents more for same day delivery. And so I ordered a Dutch oven. I got myself a Dutch oven because I had it on my list and it also qualified for same day delivery. And so that was the only thing I could find on my list that would get me over the threshold for same day delivery. And I can use that Dutch oven as a slow cooker in my oven, a casserole dish. I needed a casserole dish with a lid so that I can do some steamed cabbage in the oven. But you need a lid to trap the moisture in it. And I could not find a casserole dish anywhere with a freaking lid. Anywhere in a store. Let me rephrase that, because you can find whatever you want online all day long. But when you go into these crappy stores that are at Walmart, Target, whatever, you can never find what you go in there to buy. That's why I don't go in these places anymore. I just pretty much just shop on Amazon. If the stores had what I went in to buy, I'd go. And then if the store, you go on Amazon, you're looking for a battery charger or a battery tester for your car, there's 150 to pick from. Now I got to sit here and do all this homework and try and figure out what's the best one for the money and blah, blah, blah. If I went to Advanced Auto Parts Zone or Walmart or whatever the hell, they'd have one. They'd have one to pick from, and it would be a crappy one. And it would probably cost more than it does on Amazon. So I don't go to these stores anymore. They suck. They suck. Amazon, Target, or Walmart, Target, all these stores that they're bitching about Amazon kicking their ass. It's because you suck. That's why. Period. You're a brick and mortar store where if I need something, I could go get it now instead of having to order it online. And I would rather do that a lot of the times. But I 9 times out of 10, I go to the store and you don't got shit. And the options you do have suck. You get the crappiest one, you put the highest price on it. Like, fuck it, I'll just go home and do it on Amazon. So the Dutch oven, got that. Got the battery tester. So anyway, I don't know, cold. So last night I'm at the bakery. One of my coworkers, this girl, said her car wouldn't start on the cold day. On the cold day, her car didn't start either. She had to get a jump start. And then she says it's been fine ever since. But ever since, it's been like 70 to 90 degrees out. So we both go out to our car at the same time last night, like ready to jump start each other's car if need be. And we're like, all right, 3, 2, 1. And we both, our cars started up. We're like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. We're going home. And that was it. So we both, I'm just like, I'm sure we both have a battery that's starting to go. And I've had batteries that will at least give me enough love to get to a store to buy a new battery. Maybe give me 1 or 2 more drives before it's just done. But they'll tell you, hey, so I can't, basically I can walk to the Advanced Auto Store from here, or whatever, AutoZone parts, whatever, all these stupid, there's like, every time there's one, there's 6 more right next door to it. It would be like if every time you saw a McDonald's, there's also a Burger King, a Wendy's, a Taco Bell, a Pizza Hut, and 6 other things. Anytime somebody opens one of these auto parts stores, then all the other ones show up right next door. So they're all walking distance from me, all 10 of them or whatever. And they're right around the corner. I mean, it's 1 mile to 1.5 miles walk each way. So I take my backpack. If I got to walk over and get a car battery, I can do that. But I don't want to do it if I don't want to buy a $200 battery and then find out, oh, that's your alternator. Your battery's fine. Because now I got to pay for an alternator on top of that. So I'd rather just one thing at a time. I just want to fix what's actually wrong. So I'm like, I don't know yet. But yesterday, right when I left to go to work, in fact, I grabbed my keys and I was walking out the door to get ready to drive to work. And the Amazon truck pulled in with my same day delivery. And I was like, hold on. Grabbed my car thing, the battery tester you see here, and went out the door, got in the car. And so at least I had that with me if I needed it. But everything's been fine. I was driving around last night, and the freaking dome lights in the back of the car wouldn't turn off. And I'm like trying to figure out what button to hit to turn them off, and nothing's working. And so now I'm like starting to think, oh, maybe this is related to that. No, it's just because I don't drive the car at night very often. And the other day when I went to a store, I couldn't figure out how to fold the back seats down yet. So I had the dome light in the back turned on, trying to figure that out, and I never turned it off. And so I had to actually pull over in a parking lot because you can't reach back there to do it. If you unplug your battery while the car is running, you can tell if the car shuts off after pulling the cord. Your alternator, some cars will turn right off if you disconnect the battery. That shit's all tied together now in a lot of cars. In like if you have a stick shift, you can pop the clutch and start the car and get it to run. But I don't know. I mean, the one thing about the Volkswagen is, in the back of my mind, I was going to go look at this Volkswagen and a Toyota whatever the hell, Corolla. And the biggest thing on my mind about the Volkswagen is it's full of electronics and fancy electronic stuff. And I'm like, I typically don't like cars that are full of electronics. Like, I don't even like power windows. When I bought my Wrangler, I would not buy a Wrangler with power windows because I had so many problems with my Jeep Liberty. I would not buy a Wrangler that didn't have the hand crank for the windows because I'm like, they've had 150 years to figure out how to get those to work. So if Jeep can't make a hand crank that works for the window, then shame on them. And I never had a problem with it. With a car, especially like a regular car, I'm a little more tolerant. But like if I'm buying a vehicle, like an off-road or a bug out vehicle, those are like things on my list. I don't want electronic bullshit covering my car. And it gets harder and harder as time goes on. The cars are becoming all electronic. So I was kind of like worried about because the Toyota Corolla versus the Camry, the Corolla still has a lot of like analog manual kind of stuff. The gear shift indicator for the automatic transmission is a clear window with the letters on it with a red piece of plastic that fills in the space when you move the thing. On the Volkswagen, it's a light, an LED light, and it needs to have a sensor to know where the thing. So yeah, all these little things can make a car a nightmare. So that's kind of bothering me. Like if there is something bugging out electronically with this car, I will get rid of it fast because that's the one thing I don't want to deal with. But anyway, regardless, at least if it does turn out to be a bad car, I can drive to go look at other options. But I like the car overall. I like the way it drives. It's comfortable. It's not my style. A four-door sedan is not my style. But it's like a not bad all-around car. I got tons of space to carry stuff in. I can take, if I need to drive a few people to get somewhere, and we're all going to be comfortable. Leather seats. It's nice. I mean, it's not a bad car. I like it. It's fast enough. I don't know if sport mode works because of the misalignment on the sensor for the transmission. And I still can't find a straight answer about whether that can be adjusted or if it's replaced the sensor. I found out how to get to it I don't even know. I have not even cared about it because it doesn't affect how the car drives. That's something to do when I got patience and time. And if I have to pull the battery out, then I'll dig deeper and see if I can see that thing. And if it's a turn of a wrench and a move and tighten it back down and I'm good to go, boom, I'll do it. But otherwise, I don't want to mess with it. But as a prepper, what else could I do? So one thing I was thinking of, the Volkswagen online forum. That's why I'm not number one, the Volkswagen online forums have nobody in them. I found that out quick. The Jeep forums are full of people. The Volkswagen ones, not so much. Nothing going on in those. Reddit has Volkswagen, whatever Reddit things are called. They're okay. They have a few people in them. I did get responses from those. And so I'm looking into a couple of things there. But no, I'm pretty much on my own. And even with the forums, you can go to all these forums for whatever car you own, and they're just guessing as much as you are as to what's wrong. And you might end up being more paranoid because of what you read in a forum, thinking I'm going to be spending $1,200 to fix my car, and you turn out to spend $50 because it was what they said it was. So I don't know. I'm not going to know until I know. and that's it. And that's how it goes. And I hate that. But what else can I do as a prepper? Um, I haven't done this yet, but I can pick up a trickle charger for a car battery. That's something I don't have anymore. Um, you can get them cheap, $25, etc. And they go up from there. And so, for $25, you get a charger for your battery. And how is that going to be useful in my situation? It might not, but let's just say, how many? My stepdad gave me one when I was a kid. I was like 16 years old. I had one. This thing was from like the 1970s, and I had it up until the day I was arrested. And I used it as recently as April that year when it was once again cold and my Mini Cooper wouldn't start. It had been sitting for about a month. I went to start it, wouldn't start, couldn't jump start it. So I pulled the battery out, hooked it up to the charger, and it was fine. But I had to leave it on the trickle charger all day long. So if you, for example, had my Wrangler. The Jeep Wrangler has a power port that will stay active when you turn the vehicle off. Not all of those will, but this one has a cap over it with a specific warning that tells you it will be active when you turn off the vehicle. You're supposed to remember that. So I had a power inverter plugged into that all the time. Just a standard power inverter so that I could plug anything into it. That's how I kept my phone charged. I didn't even use a phone charger plugged into it. I used a regular USB outlet, that you plug into the wall, and just used my power inverter to charge my phone. Because it just sat in the Jeep like that all the time. But I drove the Jeep all the time. So I never unplugged it. Didn't care. I didn't realize that it was drawing any power when there was nothing plugged into it. But I hadn't driven the Jeep for about 2 to 3 weeks, which was rare, but it happened. And I came out one day and I'm walking by the Jeep and I hear this high-pitched squealing sound. And it was my power inverter. It's a warning that it gives you when the voltage that it's getting is too low. And I'm like, oh, crap. I knew what it was. And I go to start my Jeep and it's like, wouldn't start. Battery's dead. And the battery was so dead because it'd been sitting probably 3 weeks. Because I had a Mini Cooper and I drove it. And so this was when I had three vehicles. So there were times a vehicle might sit for a few weeks and not be driven. But I would try to drive them twice a month just so they don't sit. But it happened from time to time. And so, oh crap. So I couldn't jump start the Jeep because the battery was too dead. Typically you have to have some charge on your battery to get a good jump start, or you have to sit there for a long ass time with the battery hooked up to the other car. It's not feasible to do that. So you get a trickle charger like this and you plug it in. Usually you want to take the battery out or at least disconnect it from the car and plug it in, and you're going to leave it there for like 8-10 hours or what. It's going to take a long time, but it'll get your battery back up to 100% or close enough that you can start your vehicle again. And your battery will probably be fine. It just, if your battery goes completely dead because you did something stupid, like you left your lights on or something like that, and you left your lights on all night, and then the battery died to the point where the lights turned off. My battery on that Mini Cooper would die sometimes to the point where you couldn't even unlock the car. And because it was all electronic bullshit, it was really hard to get into the car if the battery died. There was a key on the one door, you couldn't open the trunk. The problem was on the Mini Cooper S, they have to put the battery in the trunk to make room for the supercharger under the hood. But if your battery dies, the trunk latch doesn't work and you can't open the trunk. So you got to fuck around with the back seat and you got to pull the fucking back seat apart to find this little cable, and you pull on the cable and it pops open the trunk, but it's a pain in the ass. And I had to do that once because the battery died to the point where I couldn't open the trunk and the battery needed to come out and be charged. First time I had to do it, it was a bitch to figure out. The second time, the third time, I had to do this more than once. But I hated doing it because it wasn't like thing you had to pull the whole back seat apart to get to it, and it was a pain. I just hated doing it. But that battery charger saved my ass more than once. Let's say you don't want to pay for a tow truck, but your battery is on the way out. Your battery's dead. The trickle charger, you leave it on, maybe you've got no extra vehicle, you don't have a jump starter or whatever it is. You don't want to pay for a tow. Hook up your battery to a trickle charger like one of these, and like one of these two, like this thing here. Hook your battery up to one of these things, and what am I going to say? Leave it sit there for the 7 to 10 hours or whatever it is overnight, and then the next morning your battery might have a good enough charge to start the car and get your ass down to the repair shop without you having to pay to get towed. So there's just lots of use for this. And for something that's going to cost you $25, it's worth it. So I'm not buying it this week, but that's on my list now. And I'm not going to carry that around in my trunk of my car. That'll just be on my workbench behind me and with all the other tools. But that thing will come in handy at some point. The one that I used to have, my stepdad, the thing was from like the 1970s, and I'm telling you, I used it enough. I never felt like I had to buy a new one, but that thing came in handy so many times. I mean, like I said, you can leave something. You could leave a cell phone charger plugged into your vehicle if the port that you plugged into doesn't turn off when you turn the vehicle off. And let's say you leave your car parked at the airport for a week on a vacation, but you leave a cell phone charger plugged into a port that still draws power even when the car's turned off. You could conceivably drain your battery to the point for when you get back to your car, it might not start. It's possible. Something stupid like that. Even if your alternator is flaking out and your battery goes dead because of it, I've trickle charged my battery back to enough health to get my car to the garage without having to call the tow truck. So that tool right there, that $25 thing, it won't jumpstart your car. So if it gets to the point where you got to hook this thing up to your car, just be aware you're not driving for, 5-10 hours, somewhere in that range. But it'll tell you, it's going to have an indicator on it, just like most battery chargers, when your battery is full. And if there's a problem charging the battery, most of these things will tell you. And so that's another way to check if your battery's bad. This thing will probably tell you somewhere on that screen that the battery can't be charged because something's screwed up on it. And that's a sign that you need a battery. Let's see. And what else can you do? I joined AAA. I should have done that the day I bought the car, and it was on my list to do. But my list is big. So, I'm not going to do everything on my list. I had multiple options to get roadside assistance, so I looked at all of them. Car insurance has it as an add-on. Verizon, the phone company, has it as an add-on to your phone bill. And then there's AAA. But when I looked into it, the other two had a towing limit for 15 miles for a tow. AAA, if you sign up for the Plus plan or the Premier,
you get 100 miles of free towing when you need a tow. The Premier plan, you get so you can get towed 4 times a year on a AAA plan. And if you get the Premier package, you can get one of those tows can be up to 200 miles for free. So, and put it this way, if this freaking Volkswagen needs to be towed 4 times in a calendar year, I'm done. I'm out. If it gets towed twice in 1 year's span, I'm out. I'm gonna go get something else. I'll get it fixed. I'll sell it. I'll do what I got to do. But 4 tows in a calendar year, even the Pontiac Grand Am, which was the worst car I've ever had in my life, never needed to be towed 4 times in a year. So AAA, I think, I mean, tell me if there's a better one out there, but I signed up for AAA, and this time when I joined AAA, they offered a monthly membership option instead of the annual membership. And when I did the math, the monthly payments versus the annual upfront payment, you only save $5 for paying the year in advance. So it's $10 a month for the plus. So $10 a month, you get 100 miles of towing 4 times a year, plus everything else that you get with AAA. But you sign up because you might need a tow. That's what you get it for. You know, I don't need a TripTik or whatever. I don't need to go get a map printed out at the triple. Like when's the last time somebody went to AAA and had them print out a map? Kids don't even know what a map is anymore. So, Premier. I used to have Premier on my cars because of the Mini Cooper specifically. I'm like, and because of that, I never took my Mini Cooper more than 200 miles from home. My mechanic was 2 miles away from my house. I could walk home from the auto garage. So I never took the whole time I owned that Mini Cooper, I never took it more than 200 miles from my house. I did take it to the edge. I would drive up to Jamestown, New York, and I would drive around up there. But that was within my circle. I never took it out. I was tempted to more than once. I'm like, the first time I go outside that fucking circle, the car's going to break down and need towed. But honestly, the whole time I ever owned the Mini Cooper, I towed it 1 time. And I could have charged the battery and avoid having it towed. But I was a little bit nervous because I didn't know what was going on with it. So I had it towed from my driveway. So I could be, you know, I didn't have to be, I wasn't like stranded on the side of the road somewhere. I had it towed from my driveway to the shop. So anyway, I looked into the options. AAA, boom. AAA in Pennsylvania is worth having a membership for because you can go to AAA instead of the DMV for anything you need done. You need your driver's license renewed. You need to get a driver's license. You need to get your title. You need your license plates. Anything you need done on a vehicle with government paperwork, you can do at AAA in Pennsylvania. And having the membership with AAA, you only pay the state fees. So AAA, aside from the towing, if you live in Pennsylvania, a AAA membership is awesome because you don't have to go to the DMV ever. You never have to go to the DMV. Unless you're taking your road test. There's nothing that AAA won't do because the government basically let private industry they didn't completely take over because the DMV is still there and you can still go there to get stuff done. But AAA is better. It's quicker. You don't get that same attitude, et cetera, et cetera. So, and yes, you could get 2 back-to-back tows. You get 4 in a year. But the one thing they do, I'll call this out. You get 4 tows in a year. So that'll get me, and
100 miles is going to get me home anywhere I'm going to go around Houston. I can go to freaking Galveston. It's not even 100 miles and find my way home with a tow truck. So anyway, like I said, I should have done it on day 1, not day 30. One reason is because I thought I was going to have to pay $120 to sign up for AAA. And so I was like, I don't want to do it right yet. Because I was spending money on lots of things. And I'm just like, I'll put it off for a month. AAA is great, but 7 days after you join, it's great. See that what they do. So if you sign up for AAA here in Texas, now here's the thing too. With AAA, every state is different. Pennsylvania's AAA is not the same as Texas. It's not the same as other states. There's lots of AAAs. They're all under one umbrella, but they all have different rules and different crap. So you got to make, so what I'm telling you applies to me. It may not be the same for your state where you live. But here, if I sign up for AAA and I need to make a roadside assistance call in the first 3 days, you may as well just call a tow truck directly, because AAA is going to charge $125 for a service fee if I need roadside assistance in the first 3 days after you sign up. So I signed up on Wednesday knowing if I need a tow tonight, AAA is going to charge me $125 off the rip. Plus, on top of that, there would be more, because for extended services, if you get the Plus or the Premier membership from AAA, your extra towing miles don't kick in until 7 days after you sign up. So the basic AAA plan will cover 15 miles of towing. So I would have to pay, if I needed to be towed yesterday, I would have had to pay $125 plus $1. I don't know what it is per mile, but there would have been an extra 5 to 10 miles that I'd have to pay for the tow to get it here to the garage next to my house. And also on top of that, there would be the $10 for the membership fee that I signed up for. So 7 days, you can't get your 100-mile tow. So I got until next Wednesday to cross my fingers and hope everything works out. The weather says it's going to be warm for the foreseeable future. So I got to wait until a cold morning to figure out, is my car fucked or what? I don't know. But to get a tow from where I live or from where I work back to where I live, I looked into it quickly, $150 to $200 to get a tow. Imagine if it was my battery that went bad and I had to pay $200 to find out I need a $200 battery when I could have just walked over to Auto Parts Advanced Zone or whatever and got a battery and brought it back, put it in, and drove home. I would feel stupid about that. So there's 3 or 5 of those Auto Parts Zone Advanced O'Reilly things right next to where I work too. They're everywhere. There's like everywhere there's a McDonald's, there's an Auto Parts Zone. It's messed up, dude. I have AAA auto insurance. They will not give people car insurance anymore unless they sign up for the tow plan. It wasn't always like that. That doesn't even surprise me, because like I said, in Pennsylvania, AAA does a lot more stuff than here in Texas. And they charge fees for all that stuff. But if you're a member, they waive the fees for all that stuff and you don't got to. I'm telling you, I've saved. My membership at AAA paid for itself, even if I didn't need a tow, because the fees for going in there if you don't have a membership. And the nice thing about, okay, so if AAA, if you go in and you're not a member and you got to get, like you bought a car off a private seller, or in my case, bought a car in Cleveland, and I had to do all the title work to get it switched over to Pennsylvania. And I didn't want to deal with these turds at the DMV. AAA, go in there. I'm not a member. Do you want to sign up? We'll waive the fee. Boom, I'll sign up. Awesome. The fees would have been like 40, $50 or something crazy like that. And I saved money by signing up. I mean, it costs more to sign up for AAA than to just pay the AAA fees, but on top of the government fees. But it all worked out. Like it was a way better deal. My brother spent $700 on a 300-mile tow. He just missed his AAA renewal. That's rough. Now, I mean, AAA, I don't think they'll cover you. Like, I took my Jeep out onto a beach on the Outer Banks of North Carolina that you had to take a ferry to get to. And we were told if you need a tow truck, it's $2,000 to get towed off the island. So fingers crossed that nothing goes wrong there. And that's if you get stuck in the sand well, if you get stuck in the sand, there's enough people hanging out on this island, you could probably get someone to come over and help pull you out. I always carried an elastic tow rope, and I had other means to get myself out of jams like that with the Jeep. I had these little plates you could put under the wheels. You dig a hole, traction plates, I guess they're called, or something like that. I could inch my way out with those if I needed to. There's a thing you can get. It's like a little bag. You bury it in the sand. I didn't have a winch on the Jeep, but I had a winch on my pickup truck, and that winch was badass. And if you have a winch, like I said, you can get these bags. They fold up to nothing, but you can open them up. You fill them with sand, and you bury them in the sand. Bury it in the sand. Like you dig a hole, bury this bag in the sand, bury it back up with sand, run your winch cable to it. You can pull yourself right out of a jam in the sand with that alone. There's lots of things you can do. I never put a winch on my Jeep because I didn't want to spend the money on it. And my pickup truck, when I bought my truck, it had a winch. That was one of the cool things that came with my truck. So let's see. But yeah, so as long as I can get to next Wednesday, peace of mind knowing that I can probably sit in the passenger seat of a tow truck and get a tow to the auto garage. And if the tow truck driver's cool, he'll probably drive me the quarter mile to my house, or I can just walk in 5 minutes. Either way. Boat anchor will work too. Yeah, absolutely. But it weighs a lot more. On that trip to North Carolina, the back of my Jeep was sagging. It looked like I was driving with a wheelie all the way down. And I had to be super, super careful. I couldn't hit any potholes. I couldn't do anything with that Jeep. I aired down the tires a little bit for some cushion, but that scared the crap out of me because we had to carry all our firewood with us because there's no wood on the island. It's sand. It's a sandbar. And so we had the whole back weighed down. So what you can do with a Wrangler, you can put airbags in the shocks. And so when I came back from that trip, I did this. $25 for a set of airbags, cram them in your shocks, and then you run a hose out the back, and you can put a Schrader valve right on the back bumper that you can hook a bicycle pump up to. Some people put air compressors so they can control it from inside the vehicle. Like, come on. I don't want all that complicated crap. So I had a Schrader valve on my back bumper, and I could take a bike pump up my airbags in the back of the Jeep to whatever pressure they needed to be for whatever I was carrying. And I'm telling you, I could put 1,000 pounds in the back of that Jeep or whatever the maximum weight was. I could put a load of cast iron pans from floor to the ceiling back all the way the back space filled with cast iron. And that Jeep would drive as if nothing was in the back. You would not even notice that anything was off when you're driving down the road with the airbags full. But if you forget to air the airbags down when you get home and empty the vehicle out, the next time you drive the Jeep down the road, the thing's going to be bouncing all over the road, and it's going to be the traction control light's going to go nuts, and it's going to be flashing at you, telling you to pull over, and it's going to go batshit crazy, and you're going to have no traction. You're going to be bouncing all over the road, and you're going to be like, oh crap, and you have to get out, and you're going to have to take your I always carried a nice tire inflator with a bleeder valve with a big old analog display with a needle, and I could just plug that into it and pss, 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 down, because you have to leave some air in the airbags, like 8 psi or something. You have to leave some air in them so that they don't lose their shape, because if they lose their shape, they'll find their way into some crevice, and then the springs, something will compress on them and cause them to rip open. So paper maps handy. I always keep a paper map wherever I'm going. So I've got a box here, I think. No, it's up in Pennsylvania, I think. Maybe not. I have a box of maps. Period. A big box of maps. I have maps of everywhere I've ever been. I take photographs and maps. Like, I collect maps. I like, because you find them for free all the time. I don't really ever pay for maps, but anywhere I go and I'm spending any time there, give me a map. I got maps of everything. But I will, if I'm going somewhere and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go drive the Blue Ridge Parkway. I've got like 20 copies of the Blue Ridge Parkway map and the Shenandoah National Park map and the Great Smoky Mountains maps. And I've got better ones that are nice, like, what do you call them? What's the word? The contour maps. There's a word for that I can't think of off the top of my head. All those good maps. Road maps. I have an atlas, a road atlas of the United States. I always have a map. I don't need a map locally. I'm like, where I go in Texas, I'm at the point I don't need my GPS anymore to get around where I'm at. Because the bicycling, I know all the little nooks and crannies between here and where I work because of the cycling. I know all the stuff. I know everywhere to go. The only reason I even turn on the GPS is to navigate where the traffic jams are and to avoid traffic jams. But I don't need it to know where I'm going. But if I'm going on a trip somewhere, I'm going to go dig in my map box. I'm going to be like, I need Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. And I'll take the national one too. Boom. Good. I'm good to go. Because you never know. You never know if you cannot buy maps in gas stations anymore. That's rare. You walk into a gas station now and you ask them if they have maps. Some zit-faced kid behind the counter is going to go, what the hell's that? Is that like a GPS thing? Like, they're not even going to know what a map is. That's like asking a kid to tell time by looking at a clock that has hands on it instead of a digital clock. They don't know. They don't know how that works. So, I don't know, maps. I joined AAA. We're good. Let's see what else is going on today. So aside from the bad luck with my car that turned into not so bad luck yet, but might be, but I don't know, or maybe not. I have some good luck stories to share with you guys. Now that we're an hour into the stream, we've got the regular crowd. We've been hanging at like, I don't know, 12, anywhere from 8 to 12 viewers. I got some good luck stories to share. So, I keep telling people this last couple of weeks, I got to go buy a lot. What lottery ticket? Tell me in the comments. Chime in the chat. What lottery ticket should I go buy? Because my luck has been on fire lately. And I'm not a gambling guy. I don't buy lottery tickets. I went to Vegas and I hit the button on the slot machine once. And You can't even go to the bathroom in Las Vegas without there being a freaking slot machine next to the urinal. So I could go to Vegas for a week and gamble one time, put $5 in a slot machine and see what happens. But the one time I did, we won like $50 off of my 5, and then we went to the buffet for $25 each, and we spent it on dinner. So we got dinner for $5. Powerball. We'll see. I mean, I don't know what's up. But I got to get a lottery ticket. Here's why. Talk about it. Y'all know the story about how I got my car. If you're a regular viewer, that it's, money just fell out of the sky for me to go buy a car. Starting with a random text from my old landlord in Pennsylvania, which was strange in the first place, followed by a letter in the mail from a bank saying I had thousands of dollars in some account I never knew about, and that I needed to claim it by a certain date or I'd lose it. And I got it. And, we all know the rest of the story. I bought a car and a bunch of other stuff. And it helped me get to the next level where I'm at now. A lot of you watching right now, you know that YouTube handed me some bonus money. I don't have the money yet, but I've got confirmation from them that it's on the way. They take their sweet old time. Google takes their time. They're quick to take money from you when they want money from you, but when they owe you money, that's like waiting for that's like waiting for your cousin that borrowed $100 to get his car fixed, and you keep saying, well, I'll get it to you next week. I'll get it to you next week. Whenever you go around asking for it. That's how YouTube pays their bills. But they offered me a $625 bonus to turn on the channel memberships. They've given me some other swag. You can see behind me, kind of over there, right there. You can see my clapboard. I got a YouTube. I'll grab it. I got this. It's actually pretty nice. I mean, it's not as nice as the one I used to own, but the thing's pretty bad. It's legit. It's a legit clapboard. It's just, I had a really good one a while back. So, and they enrolled me in this creator boot camp, and now I have a personal representative from YouTube that I can email directly and contact directly and have conversations with if anything's going wrong with my account. And so I talked to her. I said, why am I shadow banned? And we got into the conversation around it. It wasn't, it was quick. It was longer conversation than that. According to her, I'm in good standing and I'm not shadow banned. So maybe if I just change up my content style, do some other things that appeals to a broader spectrum, the channel could start growing again. I know that if you guys haven't shot the thumbs up and all that stuff, do it. If you want the channel to grow. I hate having to remind people to do it. People have to remind me to do it, or I'm not going to remember half the time. So, I know why people do it now. Make sure you give me the thumbs up and hit the bell and all that stuff you hear on every YouTube video. I wish YouTube had a better way to run their algorithm than us having to say, make sure you like the video and subscribe and hit the bell and all that, because, we all hate doing that. We just want to talk and we just want to do our thing. But the algorithm does depend on that quite a bit. Let's see. So if I could change up some things, maybe good things will come down the pipe and my channel will grow again. I don't know. I've got ideas. I've talked about them. But anyway, I also told you guys about Amazon Vine. So because I wrote some good reviews, I guess I got invited to this program on Amazon called Vine. And they basically, you get a catalog like on the website, but it's a separate Amazon catalog for Vine where you can pick whatever you want, because they won't show it to you if you can't have it. And you can get 3 things a day, up to $100 each. Like, if they're showing it to you, you can order it. and you can order 3 things a day for free. They'll send it to you, and all you have to do is leave a review for it. And it doesn't have to be a good review. You can leave a 1-star review. So anyway, I ordered a lot of stuff from them. And like I said, your payment is you get to keep everything you order. But I was a little bit confused about the time frame that you have to review. So they expect you to review half of everything that you've ordered within 2 weeks of getting it. And I was under the impression that I had so there's this time period that they evaluate you, and it ends February 15th. And I thought I have until February 15th to do all these reviews. Well, turns out now I'm in Amazon Vine jail because I can't order anything new until I get my reviews over 50%, because there's a 2-week rolling cycle. And if your reviews fall under 50% during a 2-week span, they'll lock you out. They won't shut you off, but you have to get your reviews above 50% to go back in. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'll slow my roll. But I'm like, I was kind of under the impression that you'd have time to review the stuff, actually use the stuff, and then review it. But I might not use something in 2 weeks, or 2 weeks might not be enough time to figure out if it's any good, right? So that's what I'm getting at. I didn't think that they were going to be like that. So I didn't know, or I wouldn't have ended up in Amazon jail. But I'll get out of it, but it's going to take I'm not like 15%. I got to do a bunch. They don't take long to do, though. So I can get it back up. But I haven't had time. Like, time is a problem. But it's like I was saying earlier in the show. If you let something go for too long, the time to get caught up is exponentially higher than if you just stayed on track in the first place. So 3 weeks worth of laundry takes 10 times longer than 1 week's worth of laundry if you get 3 weeks behind. If you're doing your bookkeeping in an accounting software, if I do it once a week, it takes an hour or less. If I wait 3 weeks, it's going to take 8 to 10 hours of my time to do it. Maybe not all at once, but over the next week, it's going to take 8 to 10 hours out of my life to get that caught up. If I wait 3 weeks to do it, it's a snowball effect. So I got to dig out the hole to get out of Amazon jail, but whatever. I don't care. It is what it is. But then, okay, number 4, I got 4 good luck stories that all came at the same time. So I won a camera. Bottom line, I'm going to share my screen because this is crazy. This one's crazy. This one is crazy. I got to pull up 2 links, though, so give me a second to pull these up. And that. Okay, we're set. Close that. All right, share my screen. Strava, the cycling app that I used, had this contest. Insta360, go ride with Pogacar, the winner of the Tour de France. And you had to ride from September 1st through September 14th. You had to ride your bike. You had to ride your bike for an hour and a half or something like that. 276,000 people signed up for this contest. The grand prize was a Team UAE jersey signed by Tadej Pogacar and an Insta360 Go Ultra camera. This camera right here. But the camera in the grand prize, the camera would be signed by Pogacar, the winner of the Tour de France. But for the other prizes, where are they? They're here. Oh, yeah. So first place, one winner, an Insta360 Go Ultra camera signed by Tadej Pogacar, plus an official team jersey signed by him. And then second place, 10 winners, an Insta360 Go Ultra camera. This camera here, $450, 4K action camera. It's basically like a GoPro, but better. And the Ultra has this, it's got a screen on the back. It's got the camera. The camera is detachable. You can, so the thing that it sits in has an extra battery. Like it's, I don't, anyway, get to the point here. And then third place was a signed photograph of Tadej Pogacar, and 5 people won that. So I get this random email. Proton Mail flagged it as a phishing attempt. But I'm looking at it, and I'm not going to show it to you because I want to, I want to dig into my personal stuff that much. But I get this email from someone in China that Proton Mail flagged as potential phishing scam, telling me that I won this camera, 10 winners of the camera out of 276,000 people and some change. So believe me, I'm skeptical, right? They said, send us your name and send us your address, your mailing address, and we'll ship you this camera. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. But I did my homework on this. And I looked at the email headers, and they're all from the official company domain names. So I'm like, are these scammers getting a hold of official company domain names, and are they able to send fake emails through official channels now to reach you? Because this can't be real. I'm not getting a $500, $450 camera. No way. And so I started reaching out to the company on Twitter. I figured, I'm like, what are the chances, number one, that if all I give them is my mailing address and my mailing address, they're not going to be able to do much damage to me except maybe send a bomb in the mail or something. Maybe a troll on YouTube is doing it. But I'm like, how would they even know? How would they even know I signed up for this content? I went through, I'm like, maybe the troll on YouTube that I kicked off the channel 20 times decided to send me a bomb in the mail, and this is how he went around trying to get my address from me. I don't know. I mean, who knows? This day and age, you never know. So anyway, I reach out to the company through X, and we had to go back and forth a few times. And I got an official thing from them saying, yeah, no, this is real. You won. This person's a legit person. She has a LinkedIn profile. Like, I did my homework on this, but I'm still skeptical. And this shit took a month from the time I got the email until the camera came today. I'm holding it in my hand. This is it right here. I haven't even opened it from here. I'll stop my screen sharing so you actually see it. But this is it. The Insta 4K. I mean, there's something in the box. I haven't opened it yet. Maybe I should open it. Maybe here. If this thing blows up, call 911 because I'll open it right now. If all of a sudden you just see big flash of light and the channel goes dead, well, then you know something's amiss. I'm going to open this up right now. Why not? You only live once. It looks official, though. I mean, it's got all the stuff you would expect to see. The box is nice. Here we go. Boom! No, just kidding. Oh, here it is, man. That's it. The camera. And there's some other crap in here. I don't even know. I don't want to get too crazy here, but it's my first unboxing video. Here we go. Now I'm turning into a real YouTube douchebag because now I'm going to open my boxes all day on YouTube. Oh, here we go. We got a charger, and there's a bunch of crap in here. Oh my God, don't drop it. Oh yeah, here's the rest of the camera. Here's the camera back. Yes, I mean that it looks real to me now. Um, so yeah, it's legit. I just dropped something on the floor, but it doesn't look important. So I got a freaking camera. They're free. Oh, this is something. I don't know. There's a charger. There's some stuff. There's a thing to hold it on my. But anyway, okay. So I got a free camera, and it's a badass camera. It's a high quality 4K, 60 frame per second camera. And so I don't know, man. That was strange, and it showed up today from FedEx. It showed up today. So I didn't even know. I put it this way: I knew it was legit-ish because FedEx sent me the tracking number before Insta360 sent me the tracking number. Because if you have an account on the FedEx website, anytime somebody ships something to you, you will get a notification from them before you get a notification from the person who shipped it to you. Like as soon as the label is made, they will send you an email right away saying, here's a tracking number that's coming to you. And so I was like, what is this? I didn't even know what it was because I have all these things coming from Amazon too, from the Vine program. I still got Vine deliveries showing up. The Amazon truck pulls into my house so many times in a day because of that Vine program sometimes that my neighbors think something's going on. They're just like, what the fuck? Amazon truck will leave and an hour later another one pulls in. It's fucking weird. But whatever. So anyway, so in the like I said, my luck. I got to play the lottery now. I've just got 4 wins and like boom, 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 all in the span of a month. Why would that? Now's the time to play the lottery, if there ever was at this point. I mean, this is kind of making up for some of the crap I went through last year. But everybody who ever knows me, or who has ever known me throughout my life, and now you, the regular watchers, you're seeing this crap too. I don't get to live life like a normal person. I want that. I would have liked that. But I don't get to live life like a regular person. That's never been in the cards. I always have, and everybody who's ever known me will tell you this. I have the worst luck out of any person they've ever known in their life. The worst luck. And I have the best luck out of any person they've ever met in their life. So I have the best luck out of anybody you've ever known and the worst luck out of anybody you've ever known wrapped up in one person. So it's up and down and up and down. I would love to just I would have liked to have, I mean, I don't know. Life could be boring if you just live like a regular person, but I don't know. Maybe Donald Trump sends me an autographed picture in the mail with a pardon attached to it. Who knows? Something. But I'm gonna play the lottery because if I win the lottery, I could just buy a pardon, especially from these turds in charge. More money. If you got enough money, you can buy your way. I could probably buy my gun rights back. I could probably buy a lawyer to sue the government and get me paid for the time I spent in prison. If you got enough money, you can do what you want. But may as well play the Powerball. Just see how it rolls. See how it goes. I mean, I'm not going to expect to. I never expected to sign up for this Go Ride with Tadej Pogacar thing and win a camera. And I remember when I signed up for it, I was like, I'd rather have the camera than the jersey. Just give me the camera. I'll be happy. Boom, here you go. Here's a camera. Out of 270,000 people that signed up. We got 10 cameras. You got 1. Wow. So anyway, like I said, in the last 2 months, I got a random check in the mail big enough to buy a car and furnish my house. I got a YouTube bonus that's big enough to get the hard drive space that I need and some other equipment and things that I need for my YouTube channel. And I'm on an Amazon program where a lot of the free stuff that I've ordered is camera gear, bicycle gear, home stuff for the home, stuff for my car, and camera gear. All kinds of GoPro camera mounts for the bicycle and my body and my helmets. Camera gear out the wazoo for these cameras, for GoPros. I've got a whole bunch of stuff. It was almost like it was meant to be. For the car, I got window switches. I got a window switch for free on Amazon Vine. I got lug bolt covers because a couple of the wheels didn't have the lug bolt covers. So I can put them in now. I got a full set of all 4 wheels, lug bolt covers for free. I got an extra set of lug bolts to keep in my spare kit. A couple other Volkswagen specific things were on Vine. I'm like, oh, grab it. Cool. Got some stuff for the car. There's car parts. If I need, I don't think an alternator would be on there, but that would be badass if I need an alternator and Amazon Vine has a freaking Volkswagen alternator. Even if it's a aftermarket. Bolt it on, see how long it lasts. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. Except I don't want to do the alternator on this car because you have to get under the car and you got to move the AC compressor out of the way. It's too much. It's too much for me. I don't want to do that. If it was a Jeep Wrangler, you could unbolt the alternator and put the alternator in and put the new one in. You could be done in 15 minutes, but not on this car. But I don't even know if I need an alternator. Maybe a car battery shows up. I don't know. Amazon Vine, you never know what you're going to see on there. But anyway, so 2 months, I get a random check in the mail, a bonus from YouTube, a bunch of camera gear from Amazon for free, and then a free 4K action camera comes in the mail on top of all that. And so all that happens at the same time. And I'm like, if I didn't know any better, it seems to me that maybe God wants me to go out and make some movies. What you say? He gave me the gear. He gave me everything I need to do it and the transportation. So I'm supposed to go out and make a movie now or make movies for YouTube or wherever the hell they're going to go. Like, he gave me a car. He gave me a more comfortable home. I don't have to rely on the bicycles, but he gave me 2 bicycles and a third one that's still in Pittsburgh. He gave me 2 bicycles to get around 4,000 miles this year, so my bikes are dialed in. I got a bike horn on. I got this. I'm not even going to go do it. I got this loud, obnoxious bike horn on Vine for my Red Rocket bike. You'll see it in the video. It's crazy. Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait until someone gets obnoxious with me on the road because I'm going to be like, oh, yeah? Back at you, bitch. Oh, I can't wait. And on the bike trail, when I got one of these obnoxious Woodlands douchebags walking his dog and he feels like he's got to take up the whole width of the bike trail and not let anybody go by, I'm going to be like, as I come up on him, he's going to have a heart attack. Because when I ring my bell, they jump and get all scared. When they hear this, it's not a train horn. I wish it was. They do make train horns now that you can attach to like a Ryobi drill. And I'm like, oh man, if I could figure out how to put that on a bicycle, game over. But anyway, if I win the lottery, JS, if I win the lottery, I'll do nothing but photography and movie and make a movie. I make a movie all day. That's all I would do. Because that's like being on vacation to me. I'd basically go on vacation for the rest of my life, make movies and photos and do art. And that's it. I wouldn't do any work. I wouldn't even build websites anymore. Maybe I would. I don't know. But I don't. It depends on how much the Powerball. Hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm done. No more work for this kid. make a movie and art. That's what I'd be doing, driving around and I'd buy a pardon from Donald Trump. I'd be on it. But anyway, God obviously wants me to do something with all this. He gave me a camera. He gave me all the gear. He gave me everything I need from YouTube. He gave me a YouTube representative, a person. How many times have I said there's nobody to talk to at YouTube if something goes wrong? Now I have two direct contacts at YouTube now. My personal rep and one of her partners that I can reach out to. And there's other means that I have access to reach people at YouTube now that they've opened up to me because of this crap that I didn't have before. And so I don't know. I'm like, how am I shadow banned? And then they did. That's God. Because I'm definitely shadow banned. I've proven that. But God must have been like, you know what? God can remove the shadow ban whenever he wants. So here's your camera gear. Here's your stuff. Go make a movie and we'll figure it out. Would I buy? No, I wouldn't buy a Ferrari. I would buy a badass Jeep. And I'd buy a Wrangler and I would get an Overlander. Because I want 2 4-wheel drive vehicles at all times. Because when the shit hits the fan, if one's in the shop, you got the other one. I'd have a Wrangler that was nice, like a daily driver. I'd go back to what I had. I'd have a Wrangler that was like a daily driver, a basic Wrangler with it would have upgrades, but it wouldn't be all electronic crap. It would be a base model that was better than a Rubicon because of certain things. But it'd be like a daily driver. And then I would have probably another pickup truck with a 6-foot bed and a camper on the back. 6-foot bed and a camper. I'd probably do the same thing. I don't know if it would be a Nissan Frontier or it would probably be a Toyota at that point. I'd get a brand new Toyota Tacoma with a 6-foot bed and build it out as a camper truck and something I could live in if I end up homeless again. If I had that Nissan Frontier when I was homeless, I could have lived in that truck. Not in it, but like next, I could have slept in it at night and I had everything I needed to live. What's she going to sue me for? You can't get sued for calling someone a cunt, especially when I can. Your Honor, she threw me out into the street to be homeless. Therefore, she's a cunt. Okay. Objection overruled. Right? Or sustained. My objection would be sustained in that case. That's what that means. Let's see. So God gave me all this stuff. And so I feel like, does that sound like God wants me to keep working toward making my content and not just continue what I'm doing, but do it better than I'm currently doing? It sounds like it to me. We all know that if YouTube channels get big enough, it typically leads to the YouTube channel being the person or the group's primary source of income. See, I don't want a giant RV. I don't want a $200K RV. I don't care if I got $100 million. I don't want a house that I have to drive around. Like, I'm just not. That's not me. I like right now we're talking about somebody asking me if I got a bike rack for my car yet. No, but the one that I want is on Facebook Marketplace every time I look for $50-$60. So it's there. Whenever I want it, I can go get it. I don't know if I was talking on this live stream or the member stream, but now that so somebody was giving me shade a while back because I'm switching. I'm going to talk about this for a minute, but I was going in another direction here. But so somebody was giving me shade in the comment section, calling me a grifter or something like that because I didn't start my 501(c)(3) charity drive to get bicycles to the homeless yet. And I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Go pick up a bicycle on my bicycle, strap it to my back and ride it home, and then fix it up and ride downtown with a bike strapped to my back and go, here you go. You look like you need a bike. Maybe I can wait till I get a car first, right? So if you didn't hear this story, I bought, so you can see, it's so confusing with there's a stool right there, a shop stool. Facebook Marketplace is where I found that for $40. Those things cost like $80 or more. I found one for 40. I'm like, boom, finished. Workstation is done. So on my way to go get it, I had to hit the ATM. When I pulled, it was in a shady spot. It didn't look shady until I pulled into the parking lot, and I was like, well, first thing, I pull up to the store, and right in front of me, right in front of my car, is a homeless guy sitting on the ground with a paper bag with something in it. I know what it was, but maybe not. Slumped over like this, sitting next to his bicycle. And it like put it right in my head. I was like, now that I've got my bike shop, my portable, my makeshift bike shop done, as soon as I get the stool today, I'll have a bike shop. I've got a car. I can get the bike rack that I want that can carry 2 or 3 bikes for $50-$60 that'll go on the back of this car. I can keep the bike rack in the trunk permanently. It doesn't take up a lot of space. There's enough room in the trunk of my car for 2 dead bodies, and you wouldn't even have to like struggle to get them in. Beyond that, you'd have to work for it. But it's a good mob car. The Volkswagen Passat, low key, but still got the space that you need if you're in the mafia and you got to carry bodies around. But I could put a bicycle in the trunk of this car. No, I'd have to take the wheels off, but definitely could get my bicycle. One of my bicycles, possibly both bikes, I could get in the car, folding the back seats down. So I'm on my way to get my shop stool, and there's a homeless guy in front of me at the ATM sitting next to his bike. He's passed out, but he's next to his bicycle, and it put it in my head. And so I go and get the shop stool. On my way home from getting the shop stool, I go by a gas station. I stopped at the thrift store, and after I left the thrift store, I went past the gas station, and I saw a guy riding a bicycle, different guy, different part of town, had a backpack on, and the way he was riding his bicycle and just the look, I can look at someone out in the street now and say, yeah, he just got out the joint. I can tell. I have run into a lot of people since I came home from prison that I could just look at and go, yeah, he's been in the joint. I know, like, you smell your own kind. We're like animals. It's the same way where me and my pothead friends used to say the same shit. You always know when there's another pothead in the room. I know everybody at the job, at the bakery. I know every pothead at the bakery, but I don't talk about weed, and I don't smoke weed now. But I know who they are. And I know they know that they know that I know that they know that whatever, we smell our own kind. We're like animals. So I've been homeless. I know them when I see them. I saw another homeless guy riding a bike with a backpack on, but the backpack was bigger than the backpack I carry when I go back and forth to my job, and that's a pretty big backpack for being on a bicycle. You don't wear a backpack like that on a bike, especially dressed the way he was wearing, like jeans and he looked the part. And I'm like, there's a homeless guy on a bike. And so it was like twice. On my way to get my shop stool and on my way back from getting the shop stool for my bike shop, I get 2 signs from the Lord saying, all right, now you can get bikes for the homeless and work on them and get that going. And so I have bookmarked a few bikes on Craigslist. I've bookmarked them on Facebook Messenger. If I see a bike under $100 that's pretty much good to go, might need a tune-up, a little bit of TLC, I'm going to do it. I don't know when, but I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. It might be a month or more. I don't know because I've got so much going on. I don't even have time to tune up my bikes right now, my bikes, and I want to go ride my bikes. I got this freaking camera to figure out. I got too many things going on. I can't do everything I want to do. I wish there were 48 hours in a day. I could do twice as much. But I've got the green light now from above. I can do this. I can actually go get a bike and give it to a homeless guy, or get a hold of. What if I do it once or twice and then a bike shop, I hook up with some bike shops and they say, oh, you can come work on bikes here. Or here's some inner tubes, here's some patch kits, here's some helmets that, we'll donate helmets, and get a little network going and get a bunch of churches and homeless shelters and things like that. It would only take networking and mingling and telling people what I'm doing and showing that I'm serious and doing it. This would all, and God, duh, all this can fall into place like that if I just take a couple of steps toward it. So I can do this. Like, I can get a bike for under $100, fix it up in an hour or 2 or 8 hours or whatever it takes here in my shop, and then give it to somebody. Pick up a freaking homeless guy off the street for all I know. You're taking a risk, but hey, would you be interested in a bicycle? But I don't want to give a homeless guy a bicycle. I want to give a 6'5" homeless guy a bicycle that would fit a 4'8" person. And I don't want to give a 4'8" person a bicycle that would fit a 6'5" person. So, bicycles are sized to fit your body. And there's other things like, I don't want to give a homeless guy a bike and no tools to fix it. Or if as soon as a dude gets a flat tire, he's going to sell it for a bag of crack because he can't get around on it anymore. You need to put a little bit of thought into this. A helmet, a multi-tool, so you can make a simple adjustment like raise and lower the seat and the different stuff, and patch kit and a portable pump. Like a basic bike kit would handle 90% of what might go wrong with it if the person is serious about wanting to use it to change their life and have. I tell you from my own experience, I walked 550 miles homeless in Jamestown, New York, and my travel radius from the homeless shelter was about 6 miles. I could go 6 miles, and then I'd have to turn around and come back, and that was a day. That was it. Now you've seen my radius of travel has increased to about 70 miles. Or no, 40 miles. 40 miles radius of travel. 40 miles there and back. So once I got my bicycles together and got my gear and got a little bit of shape in me, I was able to change my radius of travel to now be 40 miles from my location. When I was homeless and had to walk everywhere, my radius of travel was 6. So that's a huge difference. For the same amount of energy and the same amount of exhaustion, for me to go 12 miles in a day on foot, I can go 80 miles on a bicycle and be less tired and less sore than I was from walking 12. So imagine a homeless guy. Imagine if I was in Jamestown and I had a bicycle, and every time I had to go to a job interview that was 6 miles from the homeless shelter, I hop on a bike, I'm there in 15 minutes. And then I turn around and come back and I'm on my bicycle. I'm doing it. I could have bought a bicycle on Craigslist when I was up there. I could have done something, but I just didn't want to spend the money on it. But bicycle made my life a million times better. And a homeless person who's stuck walking everywhere with a bicycle, your radius, even if you're not a bicyclist, 10 miles on a bicycle is nothing. That's an hour on a bike. If you're willing to change your life and you're actually trying and you actually want to, but you just need somebody to help you out, if you're stuck walking everywhere, your radius might be 5 miles from where you are. That's your radius. 3 miles, 5 miles. If you have a bicycle, 5 miles is a 20-minute bike ride, even on a crappy bike with sneakers going slow. You can go 10 miles an hour on a bike without even trying to go 10 miles an hour. It's not even hard to go 10 miles an hour on a bike, even if you don't ride a bike. Even if all you got's a single speed Huffy beach bike, you can go 10 miles an hour until you get on like a steep hill or something like that. But around town on the flats, 10 miles an hour all day long without even trying. And you can go 30 miles an hour if you're in shape on a good bike. So I don't know. I could do this. This is something I can do. Churches, homeless shelters, bike shops, get them lined up. It can happen. I'm smart enough to do it. I just time. I got to take the steps in the right direction, and I'm more set up to do it now than I've been ever since I got out of prison. And so if that's something I'm supposed to do, God will figure out a way to make it work. He'll point me in that direction when it's time to go. But I felt like he did give me a sign the day I went to get the shop stool was the last thing I bought to get the bike shop area done. And on my way to pick it up, I see a homeless guy with a bike. And on my way home from picking it up, I see another homeless guy with a bike. And I don't see homeless guys on bikes. That's the only 2 times that I've been in Houston where I saw a homeless guy on a bike. And it happened to be on the way to and from to get that shop stool. So I'm like, that's probably not a coincidence. That's how God talks to you. When he puts something in front of you when he puts a freaking free 4K camera in front of you because you entered a contest that had 276,000 entries and you got one of the 10 cameras, and then you're on your way to pick up your shop stool and you see a homeless guy on a bike, and then you're on your way home from that and you see a homeless guy on a bike again, and then you get all this camera gear falling out of the sky that you needed to be able to do what you were supposed to be doing. These aren't just coincidence. Like somebody with, some douche on the YouTube channel would leave a comment saying, "Oh, you trust the invisible sky fairy or whatever." I'm like, a coincidence is a coincidence. They happen a lot, but there are times where it's not a coincidence, and it's like should be pretty blatantly obvious that it's not a coincidence anymore. I looked at so the fact that me and my coworker at the bakery had our cars not start on the same morning, that's a coincidence. That was a coincidence that my intuition latched onto and said, you know what, my battery's probably going bad. Because it was cold, her car didn't start either. It was the same day. Cold. It was the only cold day. Cold for Houston. 45 degrees is considered freezing here. I don't know. I probably got that cold. It was a bit nipply outside when I opened the door to leave. And I'm like, woo, I'm glad I'm not riding my bike today because I don't like the cold. And I am going to be one of these southern people that's freezing my ass off if it's 70 degrees outside. I don't know when. I do have a tolerance for the cold, but one of these days, I don't know. But I don't know. But getting back to that whole, does God, coincidence, these coincidences that aren't coincidence. How does this 4 things happened right in a row? Boom, 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 boom. That are like winning the lottery 4 times in a month. And, and I said earlier, just a few minutes ago, I said, does that sound like God wants me to keep working on this content, putting myself out there, my voice out there, whatever it is? and not only continuing to do what I'm doing, but do it better than I'm currently doing it. He gave me everything I needed to do that. We all, and I said, if YouTube channels get big enough, you can make enough money that could be your primary source of income, and other things that I'm working on as a result would grow. Photography sales and things like that would all grow in tandem. I want multiple streams of income. That's a goal of mine. That would be a springboard to that. I don't want a company. I don't want to have a pair of golden handcuffs from some corporation to make six figures to be chained to a job, being told what to do all day, and then they have my entire life in the palm of their hand. And I definitely don't want my life to be in controlled, but I don't want Google to control my livelihood. That's really dangerous. That's way more dangerous than working for a corporation, because Google can just go turn them off and it's over. Party's over. But all of these things can work together to increase multiple streams of revenue. So you can turn me off. It's like a hydra. You can cut off one head, but I've got six more, and the heads grow back on a hydra. So I will have all 8 of my heads, all 6 of my heads. If you cut one off and you get me down to 5 heads, I'll still live. I got 5 heads, and the 6th one will grow back. So if you cut off another one, well, I'll have maybe 2 stubbies and 4 full heads, but I'll still have them. So right now, I know for sure this is the direction I'm supposed to go. And I never wanted to do this. I never wanted to be on YouTube like this. Well, not never, but let's talk about post getting released from prison. I never wanted to do this. I never wanted to do this when I got out of prison. When I was in prison, about to come home, I wanted to keep my mouth shut. I wanted a job that could pay some bills. I don't even care if it's McDonald's. And I wanted to just dig deep and focus on my photography work and build something out of that. And I wanted to, we all, the story. I wanted to spend my life with this woman that I thought had my back through all of this. And that's what I had in mind. That was my plan. But then she threw me out into the street to be freaking homeless. And everything changed on that day. I had no choice from that point. I didn't even know at the time that I had no choice but to go this direction. But I had no choice as of that day. I realized that if I decided to sit back now and keep my mouth shut about the injustice that I was dealt, that I would never recover from it, ever. I'd never recover from this. Did I do a good thing by posting a bunch of vile crap on social media, running my mouth? I threw a verbal temper tantrum because I was sick and tired of these rotten pieces of garbage in charge of this company. And I was verbalizing what I would like to see happen to them, saying the inside thing outside. No, that wasn't good. Did I deserve to go to federal prison for 2 fucking years? No. Did I deserve that when I had to share a jail cell with a guy who killed somebody and he got 14 months in jail while I sat there watching child molesters walk in and out of jail over and over again after serving their 3 weeks in jail for molesting a kid? No, fuck no. Go ahead. Leave a comment in the comments section below the video or in the chat, whatever, if you disagree with that. But if you disagree, if you think I deserved all that, I'll just say in advance, go fuck yourself. If you think I deserved all that, that's my response to that. Did I deserve a knock on the door from the FBI, a stern talking to, a warning, a couple of weeks in jail maybe, a bunch of lawyers and bullshit from the government, maybe some probation time, maybe losing my job and my reputation, and some of the other things that we see happening to people who do the exact same thing I did, sure, I might have deserved all that. Yeah. But I don't think I deserved 2 years in prison, a complete loss of a career, not just a job, but a ruined career to where I can't even get a job at McDonald's now. Every single large company that runs a background check because they cost $20 to do it. And the fact that BlackRock and Vanguard owns every single company in America now, and they set the rules. I only got a part-time job right now because out of 600 job applications, they were small and independent enough that they didn't bother looking me up on Google or checking my background. They just gave me a chance, and here I'm still there. But not only did I get 2 years in prison for a mean tweet, I got 3 years of probation on top of the prison, the loss of the career. I haven't seen my children since 2022. I've missed my son's entire teenage life because of it. I was forced into homelessness for 4 months, exactly 115 days. And I never had to be homeless. The federal government forced it on me. And they kept it forced on me even after I was out in the street. There was not one single day that I needed to be homeless. I had a place to go. They wouldn't let me go. I found out on a Friday morning that probation would not let me move to Texas where I would have a home. And I was living with my ex and she wanted me out. I decided not to tell the bitch because I was like, you know what? I wasn't going to tell her until Monday or Tuesday because I needed to try and figure something out because I knew she was going to throw me out into the street. And it would be better to be homeless on a Tuesday than it would be to be homeless on a Saturday and Sunday. Why? It's pretty simple because the homeless offices and the social services and all that crap aren't going to be open on Saturday and Sunday. So if I got thrown out into the street Friday evening, I'm going to have to go until Monday sleeping on a park bench or where, I would have been in a hammock in a tent. But either way, I wasn't going to tell her till Monday or Tuesday. Well, she found out because she was checking in with my probation officer behind my back, and she found out from him directly that they weren't going to let me move to Texas. And so she threw me out because I lied to her. And I'm like, you know what? Anybody in my shoes would have done the same thing. I do not for 1 second believe I did anything wrong in that situation. We weren't in a relationship anymore, so I didn't have to be forthwith and, I could keep stuff to myself. We're not in a relationship anymore. She was forthwith with me about how much she hated me every minute of the day. And she made it obvious that she wanted to throw me out into the street, but she needed some sort of reason to justify the cruelty in her own mind to avoid feeling guilty about it. So she used the fact that I didn't tell her within, 6 hours or whatever of me finding out I can't go to Texas, that I didn't have a home in Texas to go to. And so she used that as the excuse to throw me out into the street because I lied. I didn't lie. I just didn't tell her yet. That's not a lie. That's just better to be homeless on Tuesday afternoon than Friday afternoon, any day of the week. Especially Tuesday, because that gives me days. That gives me time to figure things out. So, yeah, anybody would have done that. And I'm just like, I don't know. Have you ever been in a relationship that was done for a really, I think this is kind of like people do this, right? You want to do something like that, but you got to wait until you have a good reason. And have you ever been in a relationship that was just done for a long time, but either you or the other person or both, nobody would pull the trigger and end it yet because you felt like you needed a solid reason? I've been there, like catching the other person cheating or some other thing in order to justify breaking it. I think it's more likely to happen in a marriage, a bad marriage, than a bad relationship, because a bad relationship is easier to walk away from than a bad marriage. I was in a bad relationship, but I lived with the woman, and I wanted to break it off for a while. Things were bad. I waited until the day I caught her cheating to do it. And, that's all I'm going to say about it. But that was the day I was like, all right, get the fuck out of the house. And it didn't end well. And there's a funny story. I may have told it. If not, it's a story for another video. But it's hilarious, actually. It's a really good one. It's one of the best breakup stories I've got. But I had to wait until I had a solid reason, even though I wanted to pull the trigger. And I think she wanted to pull the trigger too, obviously. We just had to wait until there was the right time. And so it's kind of like that. I personally feel like going to federal prison for 20 months for mean tweets would have been a good enough reason to justify walking away from that relationship. And so the fact that she stayed with me through the whole prison sentence till the very end, and then decided to go off the rails when I came home, that's the only part that sticks with me as being crazy. She couldn't walk away when I went to prison. That's when most women would have been like, you know what? I'm out. She waited until the finish line. She decided to enter the Tour de France and wait until she was on the last lap around Paris on the last day of the race to get mad, throw her fucking bike off the side of the road, jump into the team car and withdraw from the race and get a DNF at the end of the Tour de France. Even though you just went 2,700 miles on your bike and you were going to win the race, you had the yellow jersey and you just said, fuck it, I'm done, and quit on the last day. So I don't know. That is what it is. And the thing is, I got to get off this topic, but I will say this. Jamestown, New York is a gossip mill like I've not seen, because it's a small town. And I've said this more than once on my channel. People I did not know would randomly come up to me saying, I know who you are. And sometimes it was because of YouTube. People in town were watching the YouTube channel because I posted that video of the bar fight at McDonald's, and it went a little bit Jamestown viral. People were shit. People found out about me because I posted that video at the McDonald's of the bar fight. And sometimes, but not everybody was doing that. Sometimes people came up to me because they knew who my ex was and how well known she is in town. And I'm telling you, people who were straight up friends of hers came up to me or through the back channel told me that they thought she was a fucking cunt for doing that to me. Her friends, people who were on her side of the fence, were telling me that's how they felt. And, I'm sure she had a circle of friends or whatever going, you go, girl, you show that asshole out the door. And all, that's what friends are for. My friends took my side. I would expect that, if I'm in a relationship, her friends are going to take her side. My friends are going to take my side. In that bad relationship I was talking about before, I'm not kidding. Every time we had a house party, my friends and me would go upstairs to this one room and hang out. And her friends would be down in another room on the other floor of the house. And the two friends groups would never intermingle. And my friends would tell me all of her friends are a bunch of assholes and we can't. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So we'll just hang out up here. It wasn't just her. It was all of her friends were assholes. And her friends didn't like my friends. All of them. We could have 40 people at the house. And the 20 of them that were my friends would all be hanging out with me on my side of the house. Her 20 friends would be with her. And they would not intermingle at all. And every time they would make an attempt, a friend of mine would go and come back and go, man, why are all these assholes hanging out downstairs? Because they would all hate each other. And I could get into that. There's reasons for that. And there's things that I've learned about people and what,
But that's a story for another day. Anyway, what I basically, that's normal. What I didn't expect was the sheer number of times that random people, and I mean random people, would come up to me, tell me that they know the whole story about me. I'm like, Andrew, what's your name? I don't even know this person's name. I don't know who they are. They're coming up to me. They know my name. They know my entire story. They know my ex. They know everything. What stuff that wasn't on YouTube, they'd know. And then they'd tell me they think she's a piece of shit for what she did. People who were friends of hers said to me that I didn't deserve that from her because I was the best guy she ever met in her life and I treated her better than anybody that she'd ever known. And yeah, I did something stupid and you made a dumbass mistake and you didn't even deserve what happened to you because of that mistake, but you definitely didn't deserve the treatment you got when you came home. It makes no sense. People just wanted to tell me and make sure I found out through whatever means it happened that people were on my side in certain ways there. And I just thought, now I'm in Houston, I'm fucking anonymous. I can walk around town. Nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows my name. Nobody knows my stuff. I'm in Houston. I'm in a big city. Nobody, I'm anonymous. I can feel like a normal person here. I could not walk around in downtown Pittsburgh. I wouldn't be able to walk around downtown Pittsburgh and have a job in downtown Pittsburgh. Every single day, I would be walking around town. Someone would, hey, Adam, what's up? Oh, I heard you went to prison. What, and like, that's going to happen 100 fucking times a month. If I was in downtown Pittsburgh trying to get my life put back together, I'd have a reputation. Everybody would know me. Everybody would know my name. It would just follow me everywhere I go. There are probably stores I could go into that I was a regular at. Hey, you're back out of prison. Here I'm in Houston. I'm anonymous. I'm just another dude getting on with a day. Nobody knows. Nobody knows me. I'm just as far as I'm concerned, as far as they're concerned, I'm just a regular guy out doing a regular thing. I'm not getting that crap anymore. So that's a positive of being here. I don't like being here in general, but that's a nice benefit of having moved here. It helps. It helps a little bit. But anyway, the point is, when I came out of prison, I wanted to go this direction. Keep your mouth shut. No more talking about the government and all that crap. Have no opinions about anything. Just disappear without a trace. Focus inward. Rebuild from that direction. If I would be online, it would be the watered down fake corporate version of me. The YouTube family friendly version of Adam. That's what it would have been if I hadn't ended up homeless and somehow found my way to YouTube. It would have been family friendly corporate Adam, like Adam's going on a job interview every time he turns on the camera. And you're never going to hear a swear word come out of his mouth. He's super nice. He's professional. He never says anything bad. He's not a conspiracy theorist at all. All that. No, that would have been the version of me you see. That would have been a lie, but that's what it would have been. I would have been teaching photography, photo editing, maybe some computer skills, share my art, keep my mouth shut about the government and just live quiet and peacefully and go away and forget about it all. I mean, in a way, it worked out better because now that I'm vocal and I have a voice and there's 1,200 subscribers that would wonder what happened if I disappeared, the Clintons can't just show up in the middle of the night, put 2 bullets in the back of my head and say, oh, he killed himself. He couldn't hack it. He couldn't take life anymore. He lost everything because he went to prison. And 2 in the back of the head, killed himself, suicide. Oh, that's too bad. And now they can't just come up to me and put 2 in the back of my head because I say over and over again, I will never kill myself.
you will have to come and do it. And then when you go telling everybody it was a suicide, they're going to know you're full of shit. Because now I'm public and I'm vocal. And so Hillary Clinton can't come and put two to the back of my head now. She can't. I mean, she can, and they do, but you're all going to know who done it. You're all going to know who done it if it happens that way. So 56 stab wounds because he killed himself. Didn't somebody famous just die from 60 stab wounds and they ruled it a suicide? That's what would happen if I had kept my mouth shut and just tried to disappear. They could have been like in the middle of the night, bang, 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 suicide. Yeah, I can't even stick a needle in my arm if I had diabetes to give myself an insulin shot without cringing. You think I'm going to stab myself with a fucking knife 60 times to kill myself? No. I will find a less painful way to go out, but I won't because I'm not, and I won't kill myself ever. I'm too stubborn. I want to live to see the day that the Clintons are no longer in my world. I want to live to see the day that Nancy Pelosi is no longer a part of our world. You know, I want to live to see these things. So I'm not going to die. I'm not going to kill myself. And so like I said, I just wanted to live quietly and peacefully, but God didn't want me to have anything to do with that. How do I know? Once again, look what's happening because of what he's done. That's how I know. All this good luck that just fell out of the sky and all these different things. I know for sure I'm not supposed to keep my mouth shut. But I'm supposed to use what happened to me to fight back at these scumbags who did this to us. I mean, somebody who just left that comment a few minutes ago, I'm looking for it. Did it scroll up away? Oh, right there. JS says he's pointing you towards using your talents. Yeah, that was what I was getting at here. He gave me the gift of gab and the gift of discernment to know when a scam is a scam. You know, the day that this COVID thing showed up on TV, I knew it was a scam. I saw the arrow on the grocery store floor saying you can only walk this way to go down the aisle. I walked the other way. Joe Biden said, stay home and don't drive. I was like, here, hold my beer. We're going on a road trip. I took my son to 27 states across the United States because I was shopping around for what state am I going to move to when the shit hits the fan. Like, that's what we were going on a fun trip, and we were getting a hardtop for the Jeep in Atlanta. That was part of it. But the other part was Daddy's shopping around for a bug out. Daddy's shopping around for a bug out place. We're going to figure out where we're going to disappear to when the shit hits the fan. But we're going to have fun, and we're going to go on hikes and go mountain biking and do some fun stuff, take pictures and sightsee. But we didn't stay home. When Joe Biden told me to stay home, I was like, nope, not happening. It's a scam. I know 100% sure I'm not supposed to keep my mouth shut because God's going to use my talent to fight back against these scumbags who did this to us. And I said to us, not to me, but to all of us. All of us. We're all in this together. Remember that crap? Remember all that propaganda? We're all in this. Well, we are all in this together. We've all been ripped off and scammed by these douchebags. 2020 is the biggest scam of my lifetime that was ever pulled on us, at least since 9/11, which was the biggest scam ever pulled on us in my lifetime up to that point. And we're still living with the consequences today of 2020 and 9/11 and the Patriot Act and all these other scams that they've run on us. And that kind of brings me to another thing I have bookmarked to show you. I just got to pull it up. Here it is. Because I've been talking about this guy. And Donald Trump, the 2020 election was stolen. Absolutely stolen. No doubt in my mind. And here's Donald Trump. I think this was today or yesterday or whatever, but I'm going to read this mean tweet from Donald Trump. Ask former President Barack Hussein Obama whether or not he really believes that in 2020, Joe Biden got 15 million more votes than he did in 2012, 65.9 versus 81 million. Additionally, ask him why it is that Joe Biden beat Obama in every single swing state with the black vote in 2020, even though black voters hate him, but in no other state. All caps, the 2020 election was an illegal scam hoax that the people of our great country will never forget. And once again, I'm like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. That is why we elected you to be president. Because we actually expect you to fucking do something. All you fucking do is sit on social media bitching about this stuff. One tweet after the next about how corrupt the fucking government. Well, you are the fucking government now. So fucking do something. Get off Twitter and go fucking do something, for crying out loud. I'm sick and tired of Donald Trump running his mouth on social media all fucking day about, we got to get these people. We got to get these people. They're criminals. Well, you're the chief law enforcement officer in the country. Fucking do something. Get off Twitter. Stop bitching. From 2016 to 2020, all you ever did was bitch, 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 bitch on Twitter, and you did nothing. Nothing about any of this stuff. Donald Trump, you said, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you right now. I'll make it a YouTube short. We'll just cut out all the rest of the stuff from this video. You said that if you were president in 2016, Hillary Clinton would be in jail. You said that in front of the whole country, and that is why you won the election. Right there. That's why you won. And now it's 2025. We gave you another election. You've won 3 elections in a row, and Hillary Clinton is still not in jail. I rest my fucking case. I rest my case. Hillary Clinton's still not in jail. You've had 4, 8, you've had 9 years. I'll even give it, you've had 5 years of your life to put Hillary Clinton in jail, and she's still walking around. Arrest my case. You said at the debate, right to her face, because you'd be in jail. She's not in jail. What the fuck? All the other shit you keep bitching about on Twitter, you can do something about. You're the fucking president. I'm not the president. I can bitch all day long, but I don't have the authority. I'm not in charge of the FBI. You are. So get off your fucking ass and stop bitching about all this on Twitter and do your fucking job. That's the worst thing about Donald Trump. And that is the number one reason I can't fucking stand him as much as I can't stand any politician, is because that's what he did for 4 years from 2016 to 2020. And now he's doing it all over again. Oh, we blew up a submarine full of drugs coming from Venezuela 3 times now. Great. We sent some illegal aliens home. They all do that. No, we go fucking arrest somebody. Shut the fuck up. Or all the elections moving forward will be rigged and rigged and rigged. Kamala Harris was just such a dumbass that there weren't enough real people willing to vote for her that they could pull the scam on you this time around, and you got lucky. So, I don't know, man. Oh, boy, I want to see this. I want to see some of these comments. My son says it destroyed his life. I believe it. It destroyed my life because all of the shit that happened to me and all the things I said came about from the 2020 scam. And it destroyed my life. It destroyed so many people's life around me. Trump isn't the same man. Files probably shredded. Listen to the short Roseanne Barr put out the other day. She said if you knew what was really going on, it would blow your mind. I know what's really going on. It doesn't blow my mind because I've known about it since I was 1996 is when I woke up. So my tinfoil hat is, I can't even do the math. My tinfoil hat is so old. My tinfoil hat is 29 years old. My tinfoil hat, it's like the B-52s. Tinfoil hat! Rusted. My tinfoil hat is covered in rust. It's 29 years old. It probably doesn't even block the radio transmissions anymore that they beat into your brain with the 5G. I'm going to have to get a new tinfoil hat. That's how old my tinfoil hat is. So no, nothing surprises me. Hillary Clinton probably cut off the head of a baby. Hillary Clinton could cut the head off a baby and hold it up by the leg and go, and drink the blood coming out of its neck. And people would still support her and love her and cheer. And it wouldn't even surprise me. It wouldn't even surprise me. And like, I would be like, yep, knew that was happening. And then they'd be like, oh, that's an AI video. That's not real. Okay, that's why they have AI videos now, because when they do come out with the child sacrifice videos from Epstein Island or whatever the fuck, they can just say, oh, that's AI. That's not real. You won't even know. You won't even be able to know what the hell is what. But I'm terrified. I like, okay, Donald Trump, do something instead of bitching all day. That's what I'm getting at. You know, people left me comments. I sound like I'm mad. I'm not. I'm just clowning around. And I get animated when I talk about these things because they should piss everybody off. And if you're not mad about this stuff, there's something wrong with you. Because you're supposed to be mad when people are if someone took a shit on the driver's seat of your car, if you opened up your car door and there was a steaming turd on your seat and you had to go to work, would you be mad that you had to clean this turd off your seat, your nice leather seats, and you had to go to work and scrape this turd off your seat, and you probably got a brown stain on the back of your skirt? You got to go into the office like that. Everybody's looking at you going, what's that smell? And all that. Would you be mad? Because you're supposed to be mad when someone does something like that to you. And that's why you're supposed to be mad. That's what anger's for. So when someone's screwing you over, you're not going to put up with it. So yeah, when the government's taking a dump on us, dropping turds on the driver's seat of your car that you got to clean up before you go to work, you're supposed to be mad about that. And so, yeah, I'm mad. We all know I went to prison for it. So, but people leave me some crappy comments all the time on my channel here and there, telling me to stop bitching and do something about it. But unlike Donald Trump, no, turns out I never stopped bitching. I'm doing it right now. But unlike Donald Trump, I'm doing something about it. So, in my opinion, as long as I'm going to do something about it, that does give me the right to keep bitching about things that aren't right. And I understand Rome wasn't built in a day, but if all the Romans ever did was sit around and bitch about how Rome's not done, it would have never been finished. So it would have never been built. Somebody had to get up and do it. They had to, somebody had to get up and tell the slaves to do it. Somebody had to do something. So yeah, back to the whole thing that started this. How do I know I'm not supposed to shut my mouth, be quiet, and just go away and be peaceful and live my life? I learned my lesson. I'll never do it again. I won't do that again. But I'm not going to shut up. I didn't want to. Even when I became homeless, I didn't want to do what I'm doing right now. I did not. Even when I became homeless, I didn't want to do it. My best friend, bless his heart, he kept egging me on in spite of how bitchy I got. I'm like, I don't got any fucking time for this YouTube bullshit and all this dumbass shit. I got to deal with being homeless. I'm like, I'm having a Sam Kinison temper tantrum talking to my best friend, but he knows to take it with some salt because, he knows I'm not bitching at him, right? He knows I'm in a bad situation and I'm just venting outward. And we're laughing about it too. It wasn't like I was just bitching and moaning. We're laughing, we're having a joke, but I'm also mad. But then the first real day that I'm homeless, I'm walking around with nothing else to do but be homeless. I'm like, I'm just a homeless piece of shit now. I don't got to do anything. I got nothing I got to do today. I went to the library. I walked around. I'm like, look look at that. They got those desks. And I just kind of assessed my situation, and I was letting it all sink in. And I'm just like, I just realized, since I'm a homeless piece of shit now, I got nothing but time on my hands. Why not? And I pulled out my camera and I just sat there at a park filming whatever came out of my mouth. No script. I didn't have a plan. I wasn't going to do it. I was just like, why not? If you watch that first video, you can see that I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to do. I was very uncomfortable. And I didn't know what to say. And I'm like, I'm just going to, I don't know. I'm homeless. I wouldn't even talk about why yet. I kept it family friendly. I didn't swear, I think. Maybe I did. I don't know. Probably not. Not the first time. But, I know me. I might have. But anyway, why not? I just pulled out the camera. I filmed whatever came out of my mouth. No script, no plan, no formula, no best practices, no analytics. I didn't watch the tips and tricks for how to do a YouTube channel. I just did it. Just filmed something and hit the upload button. Fuck it. I pushed it up to the cloud. Let's see what happens. And then everything that has taken place after the fact has been a direct result of the videos. Every single thing in my life. I have a feeling, maybe, when probation finally gave me permission to move to Texas, my channel was growing fast. And I wonder, maybe someone saw that, or maybe some emails went around. I don't know. I just know that when I got the call from somebody in Pittsburgh who wanted to help me, this woman from the probation office in Pittsburgh wanted to help me, and she didn't say these exact words, but she felt like what happened to me was bullshit and that there was no reason I should be walking around homeless. Those weren't her exact words, but that was her tone. She sounded like she was angry that this was happening to me more than anything else. Maybe somebody in there felt like this whole situation was going to make them look bad. And if they didn't help me out by filling out the fucking paperwork and letting me go somewhere where I have a home, there might be some blowback coming down the road. So somebody had to do something. And maybe the YouTube channel played a part in that. I don't know. I don't know. I'm guessing on that one. But around the same time, I picked up clients. I picked up work. I started making friends directly as a result of the video channel. Freelance jobs. I made photography sales. I made money directly from YouTube by gathering enough followers to monetize the channel. None of that would have happened if I had just kept my mouth shut the day I came home from prison. None of it. All the things that I've talked about today, the 4 streams of good luck, the money falling out of the sky, the Amazon Vine thing, the YouTube bonus, and the free camera out of 270,000 people that entered the contest, me getting one of 10 free cameras. That's all because of this channel and because of being homeless and all of that. The free camera is a direct result of me being homeless because I had to ride my bike everywhere. As a result of riding my bike everywhere, I joined Strava. I might have been on Strava. I was already on Strava, but I wouldn't have seen this contest if I wasn't riding my bicycle 400 miles a month. I'm almost to 4,000 miles this year. And I'm going to cross that line. We got 2 months, 2.5, 2 months and some change left. I'm 200 miles away from 4,000. I'm going to hit 4,000. But anyway, all these good luck streams came because of this channel, because of being homeless, because of everything that happened. And I'm seeing, how many times have I said when things were going bad in the videos that in the back of my mind, I know all of this is happening for a reason, and down the road, I'm going to understand it better. I still don't understand it, and I still don't know what I'm supposed to do. but I see connections. Well, if this didn't happen, then this wouldn't have happened. If this bad thing didn't happen, this good thing wouldn't have happened. And I'm seeing these today as I sit here looking at my new camera that I got for free and other things. That's all interconnected. The money that I used for my car, it would have kept me from being homeless if I knew the money existed. I didn't know it existed. I would have been able to draw all that money out of the bank and had enough money to move to Pittsburgh, get a place to live, find a crummy job, be close to my kids. I would have had the ability to get around on 2 bicycles in public transit. Public transit in Pittsburgh is actually good. You can get all over the place in Pittsburgh on buses. Easy. On the weekends, it's a little bit dicey, but I also know people that would have been able to, I could have been like, hey, can I get a ride? I know people. That would have been no problem. I have a network of people that I could have reconnected with there. If I knew that money existed, I would have never been homeless. So I feel like it was held from me by God to force me to go through all of this, to force me into it because he had a plan. And like I said, I still don't know exactly what it is. I just feel like I'm being pushed in certain directions right now. But I don't know exactly why. Some of it's guessing. So I gotta go and I gotta figure it out. God, that's not. I don't gotta figure it out. I gotta wait for God to tell me. I gotta ask God, what do you want me to do? I'm stupid. I'm not smart. I'm not a smart guy. God needs to tell me and make it obvious. Like I ask him to do this all the time. I'm like, God, let you tell me where you want me to go, what you want me to do. Make it so obvious that I'd be a complete idiot not to do what you want. And that's where it works. He does do that. He does it all the time. This Amazon Vine program that I got invited to. I got invited to it because I rely on Amazon for my life, because I need to have everything delivered when I didn't have a car, because I couldn't drive to go get stuff. I got burned a couple of times and I left some really scathing reviews, not full of swear words, but very thorough and informative reviews on some products. And I also feel like leaving good reviews when I have like a 5-star review on something, because more like a goodwill gesture, karma, because I read everybody's reviews on Amazon because like I said, I needed to buy a battery tester today or the other day for my car. And there's 150 to pick from. How the hell do I know which one to get? So I'm looking at the reviews to see what's what. So I give back just because I was like, I'll leave a good review on this. Yeah. And so I was reviewing things. I left a bad review on the washing machine that broke. I left a good review on the new one that I got because it's been good since I bought it. And this was way before I was invited to Vine. And so, but I would have never got the invite to do that if I had a home or if I had a car and I wasn't homeless. All these different things that were forcing me to use Amazon as a means to live, because I can't just go to the store and buy most of the things I need. It's kind of like another small connection there. The YouTube bonus that I got or that I'm getting or whatever. And this whole thing with YouTube where they're like they've given me a YouTube agent and all the stuff that they're doing to me now, or for me now, I should say. I'm still in that mode. I still feel like I'm shadow banned. But we got 14, 15 people. 16, I thought, showed up tonight. Ooh, that's a little bit better than I don't know. Maybe the shadow bans, maybe the clouds will part and they'll let me talk on YouTube again. I don't know. But the YouTube bonus came once again because I'm on YouTube. So the YouTube channel led to that. I've paid bills. I've gone grocery shopping. I've been able to do different things because a YouTube payment dropped into my account a few times here and there, and it came at the right time. So it's like it's been part of the formula that's allowing me to survive. Like I said, I'm shadow banned. My subscribers went from 0 to 1,200 in 60 days. And then for the last 15 months straight, I've had 0 new subscribers. Not even one. Not even one. For 15 straight months. But the people who do show up, the regulars, I didn't get the money yet. I'll get it in November. Probably the middle of November. So, but it's coming. I mean, I've got the verification from them. They pay you when they pay you what they say they're going to pay you, but they're like, you ever have like your cousin or your best friend, or maybe not your best friend, but a friend that maybe isn't in your best friend circle, borrow money from you, and then when you go to collect, they're like, well, I'll get it to you. I'm a little tight right now, but next month, just hit me on the first of the month when the welfare check comes, and then the first of the month you hit them up and they're like, well, it's a little bit tight right now, but I'll hit you up, hit me back in 2 weeks. That's what YouTube's like. If you owe YouTube money, if you owe Google money, they're going to take it right now. But if Google owes you money, that's like your cousin that borrowed $200 to get a car fixed. It's going to be like 3 months to get your money back. When he said he'd pay you back in 2 weeks. That's how YouTube rolls. So, but anyway, the camera, this new camera I got, this Insta360 camera that I just won. Once again, for the new viewers, I won a freaking camera on Strava. It's like how does this even... Oh, wow, it's a magnet. This Insta360 4K 60 frame per second camera that I won from Strava out of 270,000 people that signed up for the contest. I won one of 10 of these. The camera showed up in my life because I didn't have a car. Because I didn't have a car, but I'm living in my own place to where I could watch the Tour de France, and the fact that I'm riding a bicycle 4,000 miles this year as transportation because I had to, didn't have a choice, had to do it. I got entered into the contest as a result of that. If I had a car, I wouldn't have been in the freaking contest. Yeah, Jared, you got to watch the beginning of the video. I unboxed it for everybody. It showed up today. I didn't say anything because I thought it was a phishing scam when I got the email saying I won. It's a very shady email that came from some shady people in China. But I got everything in China seems like a scam. But it turned out it was legit. It's a Insta360 that's like... DJI Insta360 are the two big camera names now for the action cameras. I don't think GoPro is a thing anymore. So I don't know. That came because I didn't have a car. I wouldn't have entered the contest if I had a car and was driving. I live in Houston now, where it's warm and easier to get on my feet, simply due to the weather not being harsh. And I live in a huge area where I'm allowed to travel. As part of my federal district, I can go all the way to Corpus Christi, all the way down to the Mexican border and back. And that's a big distance. Like I said earlier in the show, I don't get hounded by people when I'm walking around, because I'm not in Jamestown or Pittsburgh anymore. I'm anonymous. I enjoy being anonymous. I enjoy people not knowing who I am or anything about me. I can just live my life without having this shadow over my head anymore. I said this before. If I had a job in downtown Pittsburgh, I'd be running into people every single day who know me, who know that I was in prison. They would either want to be friends again or they would hate on me. I don't know how it would go, but I would not be anonymous in Pittsburgh at all. Not in Pittsburgh. I wouldn't be able to go there and be anonymous. Knew too many people. Now it's been a long time. But whatever. So what am I going to do now? What do I do now? Well, I need to ride my bike, regardless of whether the car's on the fritz or not. I've gained 10 pounds since I bought the car, and I'm feeling fat right now. I'm feeling it. Look at me. I got an extra chin, and I'm uncomfortable right now. Even when I'm sitting down, because I gained 10 pounds in a month. My fat ass gut right now is in my way just to sit in front of my computer. I was worse in 14 months of living in a jail with no windows or way to exercise or go outside for 14 months. I didn't see the sun for 14 months. I was probably 250 pounds. If I start riding my bike again, which I'm ready to, I think my foot still has an issue, but I think I can get on the bike and see what's up and see where to go from there. I could go back to being overweight, but not bloated and uncomfortable in about a week if I just buckle down and eat better and exercise. To get where I was on the first YouTube video, ooh, that's a different animal. I need to start cooking healthier. I need to get rid of the bakery so I'm not eating these stuff. I worked at the bakery last night until close, and I took home a box of cookies because why wouldn't you? They asked me at the end of the night, "Hey, Adam, you want any cookies to take home?" I'm like, "Why do you think I came in?" I'm like, "Why do you think I'm here? You think I'm here because I want to be? I want some cookies." I took a box, and these cookies are like $50 a box, so they're not cheap. I got a freezer full of them right now. Not too many, but I ate 2 of these freaking things this morning. Threw them in the oven, 290, 7 minutes, bang, just like they came out of the oven. I will eat 1 for breakfast in the morning tomorrow, and until they're gone, I will only eat 1 a day. But that's a lot. That's still more than you need to eat in terms of that. But that's part of the reason why I'm fat and getting fat. It's also part of the reason why I picked up a Dutch oven on Amazon. I didn't want to do it this week, but I needed to spend 50 more cents to get same-day delivery on my battery tester. So it's like that was another same-day item, and it put me over the 50 cents. And I'm like, I need a Dutch oven. I'm going to do it. So I got to come home to a nice warm Dutch oven. After that, it wasn't warm, but there are days now I can leave the house and I'll come home to a nice warm Dutch oven. Smell that when I walk in the door, because I'll have something slow cooking waiting for me. But I can cook more stuff in the oven, and I needed something with a lid that could go in the oven. You would hate our mini cakes from our bakery. I hate them. We make some bomb cakes. I'm not a cake guy, but our Tres Leches cakes are the bomb. I ate one yesterday. Listen to me. I'm eating these giant cookies. I had a Tres Leches. I had a Dubai chocolate brownie. I'm eating it all. But the Tres Leches cakes are freaking the bomb. Yes, I'll do a live stream on Sunday because I'm not, I'll be here. It's already queued up in the channel notifications. So it's already queued up. And the thumbnail's there. I do notice that on the homepage of the channel, it doesn't show the members only live streams upcoming under upcoming streams, but it shows it shows the public streams. So I've been now that I have a YouTube agent, I'm telling them, I'm like, hey, here's a bug, fix it. I have a human being I can talk to. So I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll fix it. I don't know. But I've been having this craving for steamed cabbage so much lately because I know about 3 different cabbage dishes that I learned how to make in prison. And I've been wanting some steamed cabbage, like just basic steamed cabbage with butter, pepper, maybe a little salt. And, oh, good. You see the members only stream because I don't when I go there, even in an incognito window. So that's cool. It's what did I say? 2 o'clock Central. So 3 on the East Coast. Or no, 2. Whatever. I don't know how to do the math right now. It's 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. So that would be, I guess that's 3 o'clock in the East. Steamed cabbage, roasts. I can do pulled pork. I can basically anything you could do in a slow cooker, but I needed some sort of casserole dish or something with a lid. So I got an enameled cast iron pan. It's not that nice. It's from China. It was cheap on Amazon. It's got a lid. That's what I needed. I needed something I could put in the oven with a lid. I looked at Target. The only thing Target had was Dutch ovens, and they were $60. And I'm like, I can do better. So on top of the stove now, I have a pot to boil water. I can make spaghetti, pasta, things like that I've been craving that I didn't have anything to cook it in. I just got to get a strainer. Just got to get a colander, a strainer, or something like that. I know what I want for a strainer, but at the end of the day, I might just pick one up at the grocery store if it comes down to it. I want one of the ones that you can spread open and just put on your sink and then dump it into the thing, and you don't have to I had one like that. I loved it. I hope I can find one like that. Yeah, the Dutch ovens I don't have a lot of room in the kitchen. So the Dutch oven is a good, all-around cooking tool that you can do, 6 different things with. You can bake bread in it. And on Amazon Vine, they're sending me a set of pans, baking pans, but they're meant for a toaster oven, like a Breville toaster oven kind of size. And so they're all small. But there's a muffin pan, a cookie sheet, a baking pan, a pizza thing, and some other stuff. And it's a set. And it'll be here Saturday from Amazon Vine. So that was free. But it'll give me, I'm a single, I'm by myself. So how big of a baking pan do I really need? But if I want to get 1 or 2 glass ones, Corningware or something along those lines, I can go to, I know I can go to the thrift store and get those all day. I see them at the thrift store. The only reason I didn't buy one at the thrift store yet is because I wanted one with a lid. Every time I go to the thrift store, I'm looking for a baking dish with a lid, specifically with a lid. But now I might hit the Goodwill next time I'm passing through. I might pull into the Goodwill and see if I can get a set of baking dishes for $2 or something cheap. And then I'll be able to cook whatever I want in the oven. And so my kitchen's coming along, but I don't have a lot of room. I don't even really have room for a microwave. My best friend wants to give me one. And I'm like, yeah, one of these days. If he gives it to me, I'll find room. I'll make room for it. But I really don't cook with a microwave. I might warm stuff up, or there's different things that microwaves are good for. But I didn't even use one at my old house, and I had a fully equipped kitchen. But anyway, I'll get that. I do want to get a rice cooker that has a steamer basket. Rice cooker does a better job cooking rice than you will do on a stovetop. That's why all the restaurants that serve rice use rice cookers. They're better. And if I combine it with a steamer, I'll eat more vegetables. I'll get some broccoli up in there, all that stuff. They're cheap. You can get one at Target for $30. Amazon, it's $30. There's different options. Thrift store. My last rice cooker I owned was $5 at a thrift store, and it worked great. I had it for years. They're very basic model. It was a basic model, but they're perfect. They're extremely simple. The reason why they work so good is because they have a mechanism to turn off when the temperature goes above a certain limit on their own. So when there's water in the pot, the temperature of the pot can't go up above the temperature of boiling water. Minute rice. No. I ate enough instant rice in prison. I don't want to do that. That's a no-go for me. It has its place. Camping, instant rice is great for a camping backpack camping. But you can do regular rice too. I mean, it's hard. It's not impossible to cook rice in a pot, but you got to pay attention to it. That's the point. And it's hard to make it come out perfect. But a rice cooker will make your rice absolutely perfect every time. As long as you measure the right amount of water for the rice that you're using, but plain white rice is 1-to-1. 1 cup rice, 1 cup water. Other kinds of rice might have a different ratio, but if you know the ratio, brown rice, you just need more water. If you don't put enough water, it comes out crunchy. Once you figure out the right mix, you just dump it in. It does it itself. You wash your rice before you cook it, because there could be like all kinds of bug poop and all kinds of stuff on your rice. Wash your rice. That actually helps it cook better too. If you wash the starch off before you cook it, the first time you rinse the rice, the water will turn. It'll look like milk. Dump that out. I used to use like a French spatula to block off the pan, and I would just dump the water out and then rinse it again and dump it out, and the water should be clear or clear-ish. And then once you get the starch off the rice, then put the amount of water in that you're supposed to cook the rice in, and it does make a difference in how it comes out. If I forgot to rinse my rice, I would notice the difference in the finished product. But so what happens is on a rice cooker, there's a sensor. The temperature of the pot can't go up above the temperature of boiling water, 100 degrees Celsius or whatever it is. And but as soon as the water is absorbed into the rice, the temperature of the pot rapidly starts to go up. And within, there's a sensor within 5 degrees of above the temperature of boiling water, there's a trigger and it shuts off, because once the water is absorbed, the rice is done. And so then a lot of them have a mechanism to keep it warm while it sits there. And it usually has a sealed lid like a slow cooker would have. And that'll keep your moisture in there so that your rice is nice and sticky and exactly like you would get at your Chinese restaurant. And it won't be scorched and it won't be mushy. It'll be like exact. So I want a rice cooker because I like rice. And even a small rice cooker can make a lot of rice. We would always have leftover rice. And with your leftover rice, you go to a Chinese restaurant and you get rice. You get that little tiny container of rice that's this big, yet it makes like 30 plates of rice when you put it out on the plates. I don't know how they do that. It's magic, ancient Chinese secrets. But you're going to have leftover rice, freeze it. Don't put it in the fridge. You put that in the fridge, it's garbage the next day. You freeze your rice. You can leave rice. I would always have leftover rice from my rice cooker. Put it in the food tubs. Put it in the freezer. I pulled blocks of rice out of the freezer that were 3 months old. Throw them this is what a microwave's good for. Throw them in the microwave for a minute, 2 minutes, whatever it is. Boom. You've got rice that's just as good and perfect as it was when it came out of your rice cooker, pretty much. You freeze it. That's what thing people argue with me. Like, I know people that put bread in the refrigerator to keep it fresh. That's like the worst thing you can do with bread. The worst. Freeze your bread for up to 3 months. If it's super, super, super fresh, good bread, you might only get away with it for a week, but most bread, store-bought bread, 3 months. Fresh baked bread, anywhere from a week to a month. I used to get pita bread, fresh baked pita bread. The bags were still warm when we'd bring them home. You get about 30 days in the freezer. You have 24 hours to eat it out of the bag or it's done. It's not even good. It's stale. It's gross. A couple more days, it's covered in mold. Throw it in the freezer. If you go more than 30 days, it's not going to be, it's edible, but it's not great. You could make pita chips out of it because it's basically going to be a little bit dried out. It's not going to be mushy and gooey. But you could throw it in. You could throw it in like a low temp oven and make pita chips out of it. There's things you could do with it. You just don't. You're not going to use it as dipping bread anymore. Bread keepers work great. You get a bread box that has a lid, keeps your bread dark. It does so. It'll make your bread last longer if you keep your bread. I keep bread on the shelf. Right behind me, whichever way I got it. But you see, I got a few loaves of bread there. Burger buns, hot dog buns, potato rolls. I keep my bread right out. Now, if I had a bread box, I'd use it. So out on the shelf like that, the store-bought bread, 2-3 weeks sometimes. Real bread that's not full of chemicals, maybe a week. If you have a bread box, it keeps it in a dark place. The bread box keeps your bread, keeps light out. There's something else that keeps the air. It helps keep air from mixing with it. Keep it sealed in the bags. Keep it in the bread box. You'll get double the time. My bread would last twice as long in the bread box as it would being out on a shelf. When you go camping, they make special bread boxes you can take camping with you. I used to take full loaves of bread, buns. I had boxes, plastic containers for burger buns, hot dog buns, and these long skinny ones for a loaf of bread. That do 3 things. They'll keep your bread fresher, they keep the mice out, and they will keep you from crushing your bread. Ever take bread on a camping trip or on a picnic or whatever, and you pull it out and it's all smushed because it's always going to get crushed. If you're packing for a camping trip, your bread gets crushed. It's almost a rule that you're going to eat crushed bread at your campsite because the burger buns got smushed. Not if you do it. Not if you get the containers. They're on Amazon. They're cheap. Just look it up. I'm not going to share my screen for that one, but yeah, you can keep your bread. I don't know. I like bread, and bread boxes. You can get them on. I got a good bread box on Amazon. It was cheap. I had a matching butter dish to go with it. I always keep softened butter out on the countertop. A freaking stick of butter in a butter dish. A month. It's fine. It's butter. We keep our boxes of butter at the bakery. We don't refrigerate our butter. We have boxes. It can take us 3 to 4 weeks to go through the rotation of butter. There'd be a box of butter there's times where we open a box of butter a month after we got it, and it never went in the fridge. It's fine. It's butter. It's better. I keep my butter in the fridge because you can keep butter in the fridge for like a year or more. You can freeze butter. Butter's fine. But out on the counter, it has a shelf life. But I'm going to go through it in the time. One day I forgot to turn on the AC when I left the house. I came home and my butter in my butter dish was like, "Meh." Like it made a frowny face because it melted, but it didn't melt. But it wasn't a stick of butter. It was like a "Meh" kind of a thing. And I was like, crap. But I turned on the AC and then I've already gone through that butter. It's nice and soft. You're going to make a grilled sandwich. I've been making some grilled sandwiches on my cast iron pan. And now that it's starting to get chilly outside, I have a Lodge cast iron pan that I've had for so long that the surface of it is smoother than the Griswold pan that I'm using right now, because I've had it for like 20 years. And I used it almost every day for like 15 years straight. It's my go-to pan, but it got ruined while I was in prison because it's got rust on it. It needs to be reseasoned. It needs to be reconditioned. And it's a smoky job. And so I need to open a window and have a fan. And I don't want to do it when it's 90 degrees outside, because I got to turn the oven up to about 450 degrees to do it. And I could even make a video about this. I think I have a good way to do pans that would make a good YouTube video. But there's that. So I don't know. I'm basically, I got to get rid of the fat. I got to cook stuff. I ate McDonald's. Oh, they had this deal at McDonald's. You get a double cheeseburger and you get another one for $1. Oh my God. I found that when I got my car. And now I'm like, anytime I'm like, oh, I'm in a hurry, I can go to McDonald's. Oh my God, I've eaten McDonald's like 4 times in the last month. And I was eating some Burger King here and there. I go through a phase where life gets busy and I'm out and about and I'm not going to feel like cooking when I come home. And if I don't have a fridge full of groceries, I'll just be like, oh, let's go to McDonald's. And I could do some cooking videos or something I want to do. This new camera is going to be awesome because I have 3 GoPro Hero 4 cameras. I bought them on Craigslist. I got a deal. I got all 3 of them for $75. Not each. I got 3 GoPro Hero 4 cameras for $75 total for all 3 of them. And a whole bunch of crap. And this was back when the GoPro Hero 4 was like 1 generation old, because the Hero 5 was out, or maybe the Hero 6 was out. And so I got 3 Hero 4s for $75, and it came with a Hero 3. So I've got 4 GoPro cameras. I've got this new camera. I've got 3 old cell phones sitting next to me that I'm going to use them for their camera capabilities, because why not? I have them. I've got my new cell phone. I've got a Nikon D7100. I've got a Sony A5000. I've got a Sony AR2, AR72 or something. I don't know the name of it. I've got all these cameras, video capable cameras, high-end DSLR stuff. I just haven't gone through my camera gear because some of it got wrecked. And that's something that's on my list. The never-ending list. Yeah, JS, I can teach you guys. I can do a pan. It takes a minute to get my Griswold pan that sits on my stove right now. I could not cook an egg on it when I first started using it. I couldn't cook anything on it. I couldn't cook oil on it when I first moved into this place. But now I can throw an egg on that thing and it'll slide right off like nothing. It takes a minute to get the seasoning right, but there's 3 different methods I use. One is a seasoning that you do the first time you season it. And then there's 2 other ways to do what I call maintenance seasoning that are different. And the oil's different. Everything you do is a little bit different. And then there's kind of like some in-between stuff, but it's actually extremely easy. It's easier to clean them. Like people think cast iron's complicated, and then when they know how to do it, you'll never want to use anything else. But it's not. I had to learn, and I learned from like 5 or 6 different people. Forums, people told me face to face. There's a guy on YouTube called the Cast Iron Cowboy. Go watch his videos. He's great. I use his seasoning method for maintenance seasoning, it's called, and I use his cleaning methods. The only thing the Cast Iron Cowboy does different than me is if I have a new pan,
I don't do the same thing he does. Bacon fat the bacon fat method is my method when I take, so my pan, I'll just talk about it. The pan that I have that has rust on it, what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to spray Easy Off all. There's two ways to do this. The safer way, if my oven has a self-cleaning mode, I can put it upside down in the oven, turn on the self-cleaning mode of the oven. Anything that's on that pan will turn to powder and it'll be gone. But it's also not good to overheat your pans. And self-cleaning ovens, you could burn down your freaking house with a self-cleaning oven if you're not careful. That's a risky thing to do, to turn on the self-cleaning mode on an oven, even just to clean the oven. That bad things can happen. I don't trust them. I've seen it. I've seen friends have it's kind of a thing. But if you put a cast iron pan, whatever seasoning is on that pan, when the self-cleaning oven is done, now when the self-cleaning is done, leave the door shut, leave that pan in there for at least 24 hours or a day, overnight. You want to open up the door to that oven and the pan be room temperature. And you want it to cool down slowly. You don't want to shock the pan. But that pan is going to be bare metal down to the cast iron, no seasoning at all. It's going to be bare. It's going to be gray, silvery. It's going to be metal. That's it. The other way to do it is to spray it with Easy Off, coat it, put it in a plastic bag, let it sit for like 2 or 3 days. Then you take steel wool, get on the sink. You got to have, first of all, you got to have your oven ready to go. And you've got to get under the sink with steel wool and scrub that. And the Easy Off will take off a lot of the seasoning, but there might be stubborn spots that don't want to come off. Scrub it with the steel wool. If you have one of those brass scrubbers, the non-scratch scrubbers, that they use at restaurants, you get them at the store. They're made out of brass, whether they're silver or not. That's meant for stainless steel because it won't scratch the stainless steel because it's a softer metal, but it's a metal scouring pad. You can usually get a lot of the seasoning off. It might not be perfect. Self-cleaning oven, there will not be one molecule of seasoning left on that pan. It'll be bare metal. And there's other advantages to it because it won't be wet. You take a pan down to bare metal under your sink and you get it wet, and you're doing it with the scrubber or whatever, the steel wool. The second you take that pan off the sink, you can watch the rust start to form. As soon as the water starts to dry, you will instantaneously see rust starting to form on that pan. Instantly. It happens as you watch. And you got to try and keep the rust off because I don't think it's going to kill you, but you don't want it. But it will start to oxidize, especially with wet, instantly. It's why if you have a cast iron pan that you take camping and you leave it in a damp spot, next morning it's going to be covered in rust. It's going to be a mess. Happens fast. So what you do is you have a burner going on your stove. As soon as you get it out of the water, boom, on the burner. And what you're doing with the burner on your stove is you're getting all that water to evaporate as fast as it can go. And then you want to use, I call them cast iron rags, but what you want to, any rag that you wipe off a cast iron pan with, you want to use the cotton rags that have a waffle pattern. You want the waffle pattern. This is what they're called. It took me a long time to figure out what they're called. Because you need, number one, you need cotton because it needs to be able to handle the heat. Synthetic will melt. If you wipe a hot cast iron pan with a synthetic cloth, that shit's going to melt. It's going to get in your pan. Cotton. You could burn the cotton if your pan is hot, but it won't burn. It won't melt. And the waffle pattern is important because it doesn't leave lint.
You don't want anything to wipe your pan off with that leaves lint behind. The cotton waffle pattern towels are what you want. So you use one of those and you get all the water off. And once the pan is dry, it won't rust before your eyes. Then the pan's going to be a little bit hot. You need, use a handle holder or a rag to hold on to the handle. You get a basting brush and you have some liquefied bacon fat. You take a basting brush, brush bacon fat all over the pan, handle and all over the pan. And then you use your waffle pattern towel to wipe it off. You put just the thinnest coat that you can get on there. I usually let it be a little bit thicker on the outside of the pan and the handle. But on the inside of the pan, I try to make it thin, really thin. Then you put the pan upside down on the middle oven rack and set your oven to 450 degrees once it's coated with bacon grease. And, whatever fingers or whatever hand you use to put it in the rack, make sure to get in there with the basting brush and touch up that spot that you had to touch to put the pan in the oven. 450 degrees on the oven for about there's no time limit, but it's as long as it takes for smoke to stop pouring out the oven. You'll see just a giant cloud of smoke coming out your oven, and it's going to fill up your house, and it's going to smell like bacon grease smoke for the next 5 or 6 days of your life. It's going to fill your house with smoke. So have a window open, have a way to vent that out. Even if you've got a vent above your stove that will suck it out, it's not going to get it all. It would, you knew if Daddy was seasoning cast iron with the bacon grease, it's going to burn your eyes. And for the next night, you're going to be watching TV in the next room, and it's going to be like you're going to be squinting because it's going to be thick. When it's done, when there's no more smoke pouring out the oven, that's usually the sign that it's done. Let it sit for another hour at 450. Just let it bake. Because you're carbonizing the bacon grease. That's what turns your pan black. It's turning into carbon, and it's creating that surface. And so then you turn off your oven and let that thing sit overnight. Don't even mess with it. Don't open the oven door, nothing. Just let it cool slow. The next day at some point, go open the oven, be like, oh yeah, my pan. Pull out your pan. It's going to be good to go. You might have some marks on the handle. Be careful when you put the handle. Try to position the handle on the oven rack that you're not going to get the lines on the handle from touching the oven rack. You won't notice it as much around the rim of the pan. But on the handle, if you get a line from the handle resting against the oven rack, you'll notice it. It's not the end of the world, and you can fix it over time, but it's harder to fix on the handle than it is in other parts of the pan. So then that'll get you your coating. That'll keep the outside of the pan, the handle of the pan, and you've already got a good base in the pan itself to cook. And you can start using it right away. But the thing that makes the biggest difference of all with let me see if I'm missing anything there. So you got the pan, you got the bacon grease, you got the seeds, pulled it out. Yeah, I don't think I feel like I'm missing something, but it is what it is. So when you cook, you can cook whatever you want. Just be aware, eggs probably going to stick. Things you may or may not. I've had good luck sometimes with that first season. It comes out great. Certain things are going to be great. In fact, the best things to cook on this pan to get things rolling are oily, greasy things like bacon. Bacon's the best. Burgers, anything greasy, anything that's going to throw a layer of oil and do some fried chicken. Anything that's oily and greasy is great to get things rolling. Because the pan heats up on your stove. and it opens up the pores in the metal, and it absorbs into the pan in the microscopic level. And every time you cook something oily, your pan is absorbing more and more oil, which creates the nonstick surface. Always, 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 always use a metal spatula, no plastic spatula, no rubber spatula, only metal spatulas only. And when you use them on the pan, be aggressive. Scrape the pan. If something sticks, just be like, get in there, scrape that thing. The reason why my Lodge cast iron pan, go to the store and look at a Lodge pan, they're rough. There's a rough texture, and they're kind of crummy. I mean, they're not. The quality of the cast iron's actually pretty good. They're pretty good pans, but they're rough. The texture is rough. They're not. You get a brand new cast iron pan from Lodge, and you bring it home and you try to cook an egg on that thing. It's gonna be a fucking mess. It's gonna be terrible. But my Lodge pan is it's smooth as glass on the cooking surface, because 15 years of scraping it with a spatula smooths. It's like sandpaper. It smooths out the iron, and you're putting microscopic bits of iron in your food while you cook with it, so you don't have to take iron. You don't have to take vitamin. You're getting your iron in your food that you need by cooking on an iron pan. So and by scraping your pan, it smooths out all the ridges. It's forcing food into the pores. It's scraping off the rough edges and it's over time, 15 years of scraping a pan with a spatula, you're good to go. So things stick to my pan still. When I'm cooking, whatever it is I'm cooking, be careful if you cook it with acidic things, because the acidity, like spaghetti sauce and stuff like that, that'll take your coating off. But if you do the maintenance seasoning that I'm about to talk about, you'll be good to go. And it won't matter. But if you get something that sticks to the pan, whatever it is, it happens. The best way or if you make something that's messy, gooey, here's the best. What you do to clean it out. After you got one thing about cast iron, you got to clean the pan before you eat. Clean the pan first before you eat. You will thank me for this, but it's easy. Turn on your hot water. So after you get the food out of the pan, turn on the hot water on your sink, make it as hot as it'll go. Keep your pan on the stove. If you've got stuff that's really stuck on and you can't scrape it off with a spatula, put a little water in the pan, boil it, and the boiling water in your pan will get all the stuff off, and scrape it off with the spatula. You want to get all the bits of food off the pan, dump the water out, run it under some water. That might be what you do. The other way to get things off, if you've got some cheese from a burger stuck to the pan and you can't scrape it off. I'll cook I don't even know. I'll cook something on there and it'll make a mess. Turn the hot water on your stove, full blast. I did some grilled ham and cheese sandwiches with caramelized onions the other night. And the caramel from the onions, the sugars, stuck to the pan hard. And I couldn't scrape it I have a special spatula to scrape with. It's a beast. It's like a razor sharp edge. Wouldn't get this shit off. Turn on the hot water on your sink, hot as it can go, because you don't want to shock the metal. Keep your pan on the burner until the pan is smoking hot. The stuff that's stuck to your pan is smoking and putting smoke in the air. Grab the pan, throw it under the hot water, and the pan's going to go psh, and get in there with your spatula and scrape all that steam. The Cast Iron Cowboy has a video about this, because this is where I learned it from. The steam that hits the pan from that shock, that's why you use the hottest water that your sink can put out. That steam loosens up all the crud that's stuck to your pan, and you can scrape it off with a spatula 9 times out of 10. I don't use one of those chainmail things that people use. You could probably use it. A spatula always does the job for me, always. So then put your pan immediately right back on the burner. Don't turn the burner off. You pull it out of the sink, scrape it with the spatula, set the pan on the burner because you need to evaporate all the water as fast as possible. So then when you set your pan back on the burner, the water will evaporate. While the water is evaporating, take your waffle pattern cotton rag, wipe the pan down. So any bits of food, anything that's in there, if there's a little bit of food in the pan, like something, rub it in. Just rub that shit into the pan. It's part of the seasoning now. And then when the water evaporates, heat the pan until you can touch the side of the pan with your thumb and it's like, ow. Touch the side of the pan. You should wait until the sides of the pan are hot. And so the last thing you do is you take olive oil about the size of a quarter, a drop, about the size of a quarter. Pour just a drop of olive oil about the size of $50, a quarter, that amount, on your pan. Swirl the pan around. Let the oil... the pan should be hot enough at the very least that if you take a little bit of water from the sink and fling it with your fingers, it should instantly just go psst, and that's it. Gone. So when it's that hot, you take the little bit of olive oil, hit the pan with that. It'll probably start to bubble and smoke and be, Then you swirl that around, get that oil to go all over the pan as much as you can. And then you take your waffle pattern rag and wipe the pan off. Push the oil all over the place and wipe it off. So what you're leaving behind is oil on the pan, but it's like a microscopically thin layer that's left over from, you're basically taking a cotton rag and wiping oil all over the pan. And so then you leave it on the burner and turn the burner off and just let it sit. And you'll see smoke. You want to see a little bit of smoke coming up off of that pan. Not a lot, but you will see it. It'll be just a little wispy, and it'll be burning that olive oil and carbonizing it and forcing it down. And the heat opens up the pores of the metal, so that oil's getting down into the pores. And then that's why you use the olive oil for the maintenance seasoning, because it works its way into the pores, and then it hardens up and turns to carbon. And you do this every time you cook with it. Even if it's just a quick little drop, wipe it with the rag, and then let it sit and cool down. When your pan cools down, you do this like 5 or 6 times. You're going to see a huge difference in your pan, and it's going to be slippery, and everything you put in that pan is just going to slide around. The bacon grease is like the first layer. But the bacon grease, in my opinion, does more to protect the handle, the bottom of the pan, the outside edges and all that, the non-cooking surfaces from damage, rust, all that kind of stuff. The olive oil, the daily olive oil, is what builds up quickly and turns your pan into like next level pan. I didn't know about the olive oil crap until the Cast Iron Cowboy showed me. And when I started doing what he does, boom, my pans were already pretty good. But that was like, that was so much better. They're so much better. That pan that's on my thing right now. Now, like I said, I have softened butter. I made grilled sandwiches. One of my sandwiches stuck to the pan, even though it was covered in butter. Put it down. I went to go under it with the spatula, and I'm like, damn it, it's stuck. So I scraped it off, flipped it. It didn't actually damage the sandwich at all, but it left bits on the pan. I moved the sandwich out of the way. I scraped off the pan, got those gnarly bits into the pan and into the food. And You don't use the olive oil for your first seasoning in the oven. I don't think that would be a good idea. It might. I mean, I don't know. It might be a good idea. That's what I use the bacon grease for. And then once in a while with the maintenance seasoning, I will use bacon grease instead of the olive oil. I use the exact same technique. I'll just take a chunk of bacon grease and go onto the pan, melt it in, rub it down. You could probably do the maintenance seasoning with bacon grease. I always have some in the fridge. You can probably do it with bacon grease instead of olive oil and get a similar result. But olive oil is always sitting right next to it's always right there. And I feel like it works great. It works really. I think there's a place for that. I think there's a place for both. I use them both. But even a non-stick pan will have stuff stick to it. I mean, if there's nothing as foolproof. And you use olive oil to season your stainless steel too. I have a stainless steel pot that I bought when I was living in the slumlord, that slumlord dump. And I melt cheese and all kinds of stuff in it. And that thing would have all kinds of food stuck to it. But when I heat it up and I season it with olive oil and let it cool off, that thing looks brand new whenever I get done. And the more I do that, the less stuff sticks to it. Stainless steel, the pores are more finite. That's why I think the olive oil, I wouldn't use bacon grease to do that with stainless steel, but you're supposed to season your stainless steel cookware as well. Like, most people don't know that, but I've had eggs stick like crazy on stainless steel pans. You season them a few times and you do the right technique, boom, you're not getting sticky. You can just flip an omelet like that back into the pan. You've got to use a spatula. But on stainless steel, only use a plastic spatula, and rubber spatulas. Don't use metal on stainless steel because you'll scratch the shit. You don't want to scratch your stainless steel. So it's the opposite. Only rubber spatulas, only rubber spoons, only rubber. I always use rubberized stuff. I don't like plastic because even if it's not going to melt, but if you need something with a little bit of rigidity, a plastic spatula, a plastic thing, plastic might be all right in those cases. I'll use a metal wire whisk from time to time, and it's because it's gonna if you use your shit, it's gonna look like you used it. If it looks brand spanking new, it means you don't cook. So, but they do make plastic wire whisks. They make all kinds of stuff just for the stainless, so that it's not. But rubber spatulas and all that stuff, that's all for stainless steel and for non-stick. You want the exact opposite. You want nothing touching your cast iron pan that's either not cotton or metal or food. That's the rule. And never ever ever put soap on your cast iron pan. You don't need it. You don't need it. If you do what I can make a video about this. It's easier to explain, and you don't have to do post cooking. I'm telling you, it takes me less than a minute to clean my pan, and that includes seasoning it, unless I turn the stove off and I have to wait for the burner to heat up so that the pan's hot enough to receive the olive oil. But sometimes I'll just wipe my pan down because I'm lazy, maybe even put a drop or two of olive oil and just wipe it on just to protect the pan. But knowing that that's not going to get absorbed the same way as doing a seasoning, but I'll just, protect your pan from rust. Because if you do the olive oil method on your pan, the seasoning is going to be very thin, and it's very easy it's not, bacon grease is real thick, but that's part of the reason why things will stick more. The olive oil coat is really, really, really thin, but eventually it will turn black, and it's just different. And it sounds, I explain this to people and it sounds like it's all this hard work. And then you show it to them instead of talk about it. And it's like, oh, that's so easy. It's super easy. I won't. I would rather cook on my cast iron pan than a non-stick pan because it's easier to clean. Like I feel like the cast iron's easier to clean, and do the stuff. It's just it sounds complicated to talk about it because I'm telling you the reason for everything. But when you do it, it's like I'm done cooking. Psst, wipe, oil, wipe it again, let it sit. It's done. And you don't have to be religious about it either. I mean, you can, I've left the damn pan sitting out all night on the stove without cleaning it like a dumbass from time to time. And that's when, okay, shit, I got to fill the pan with water, boil the water, let the boiling water sit there for a while, let the food fall off, scrape it with the spatula, dump the stuff out, wipe it down. There's a process to cleaning it. If you're lazy and you leave food in your pan all night and you didn't do the dishes, that's how you can deal with it. You don't have to use soap. You don't got to do nothing. There's an answer for it all, and it's easy. It's easy. I feel like it takes me longer to do dishes than to clean my pan. But until people do it and you actually have done it a few times, you're like, you got it in your head that it's, cast iron, that's all complicated. I should just go get some Tefal and get some cancer in my food. Whenever my pan falls apart and leaves bits of pan in my food, I'm getting iron in my diet. When you're on your Tefal or whatever you're cooking with, your non-stick pan, and you get a bit of pan in your food, you're getting cancer in your belly. So that's the difference. And the cast iron is just better. It's versatile. You can use it for so many different things. I try to get things that have a multiple uses. So I'm going on like 3.5 hours, and all this talk about food's making me hungry. So I'll talk about what I'm going to do. Right now, I'm going to fill this belly and make it get fat again. But maybe next time I'm on the call, I will talk about what I'm going to try and do next. Aside from riding a bike and filming it for you, I'm going to talk about next what am I going to do to get rid of this belly and to make the rest of my body look like my legs look. With that, I'm going to say peace out, and thanks for showing up. And shout out to all the channel members. One check. Where are we at with the channel members? I'll take a look at that. And bacon's not bad for you. Let's see. YouTube Studio. Let's see where we're at with the channel memberships. Earn. We're still at 5 channel members. If we get up to 8 channel members, we can have more emojis. And I learned some more stuff about emojis and stickers and whatnot during the boot camp. So I don't know if they allow me to, but maybe I can make some animated GIF emojis and stuff like that. That could be cool. I'll see what I can do. I can make them. I don't know if they'll allow it. But maybe I can get maybe I can get like a little middle finger emoji that goes like this or something like that. I don't know. Or I don't know. But anyway, with that, I'm going to let it go for the night. I'm going to go take my cast iron pan, make me a couple chicken sandwiches, I think. That sounds about right. Or something more simple than that. But either way, I'm going to say peace out for now, and I hope y'all have a good one. I'll be back for the members only live stream on Sunday, and hopefully either tonight or tomorrow morning, I'll put up the notification about next week's regular live stream on Thursday. Thursday, 6 to 9, 6 to 8 Central Standard Time. With that, peace out.